You messed up the entrance? How's it going, everybody? Well, welcome to a brand new stream. Not an episode, folks. Oh, I messed it up too. Look at that. We're all messing it up. What's happening here, folks? How's it going, everybody? Do you hear that? I gotta change the desktop one sec, folks. You guys doing good? I love technical difficulties. What's happening here? There we go. Let me close that. I don't need that anymore. How's it going, everyone? Welcome. I'm joined by Karin and Maki. Look at that. Look at that, folks. We're starting off strong.
Biscuits.
We're starting off with strength. You know, just like an episode reaction of her take. That's how we should start. How's everybody doing on this? What's today? Tuesday?
Tuesday.
On the Tuesday night, folks. It's Tuesday here in Lebanon. Tuesday night. Testicle Tiger just became a member. Thank you for joining, Testicle Tiger. I'm going to be doing an exclusive member and Patreon stream this week, so stay tuned, all you members, all you patrons. We love you so much. Speaking of patrons, before we dig into anything, we're going to be doing a reaction, by the way, to episode 3 of Her Take, the latest episode in the Cringe Fest that is Her Take. Let me thank our abductee patrons that just joined this week. Here, take a look at that graphic while I do that. Karina Carrillo, Dumb Adult, N.A., Lee NYC, and Jamal. Thank you so much for becoming abductee patrons of our channel and making sure that we can sustain this channel. Folks, we're an independent little Lebanese YouTube channel all the way out here in the Middle East. We cannot keep this operational without your support, so we appreciate all of you. Also, a blonde patron, Danielle Richards. Welcome to our Patreon, Danielle. We love you and we appreciate your support. Let me take a second to also thank a few of our other patrons. And by the way, you guys can also support us by becoming YouTube members, by supporting us in the live chat. We love you all so much, and we appreciate you so much. But you don't have to do any of those things to support us, folks. You may simply just chat, engage, like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, leave a chat in the live chat, and we will be more than appreciative for you guys to be here. Let me thank some of our God-tier patrons, Eliad Mujaber, Jack Sleeman, Dominic Selzer, Daniel Nechle, Emma Watson, and a rose for you. And superhero patrons, Rhea D, Elias Salibi, Noof, OQ, Muhammad Mroué, and Jessica Ann, and some blonde patrons like Leonardo Sawaya, Reni Paladian, and Cassette Guy, folks. We love you so much. We appreciate your support. Also, they cast the new Harry Potter and Hermione, by the way. Harry, Ron, and Hermione. I just saw it on Twitter. They announced the new cast. We can talk. Would you guys be interested? Let me know in the live chat. Would you guys be interested in a once-a-week movie stream where we break down the biggest news in the world of movies? Like if there's a new trailer, a new casting announcement, like they just announced the new Harry Potter cast. Would you like a movie-only edition of Do Not Worry once a week with the crew? I would love to do something like that. If you guys are into movies, you're into TV shows, you want to watch us review movies, trailers, all that sort of thing, let me know. I would love to bring something like that to the table. It would be super fun. Yeah, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be reacting to episode 3 of Her Take, featuring Anna Kasparian, I forgot their names at this point, Wendy Lee, Jillian Michaels, Lindy Lee, sorry, and Amy Dangerfield. And they're hosting Ann Coulter this week, who's like an insane Republican with like insane fucking takes. Some people
the chat would
yes.
love it. Yeah. Okay,
awesome. Fuck yeah. We're gonna test out Do Not Worry movie edition, folks. Fuck it, we're gonna do it. I'm down. We'll review a couple of movies. We'll have some fun with that. More work for us. Great. But it'll be a nice change.
You suggested it.
I know, right? But it's fun. I'll do most of the work. Don't worry. So before we get into the episode 3 of Her Take, let me just show you guys what's on the docket for tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to be doing a solo live stream reacting to, I've never heard of this guy, but I've been seeing him a lot on Twitter and stuff. Willie Mac Show. I know he hates Hassan. That's all I know. And he recently just made a video about iDubbbz 6 days ago. iDubbbz is unironically evil, featuring Hassan and Denims. Tried to ruin Ethan's family. So I'm going to react to that tomorrow. Seems like a really stupid video, so I think it's going to be fun just like shitting on it. But anyways, that's tomorrow. That's a solo live stream tomorrow. Today, we are doing Her Take episode 3. If you guys remember, Noor and I reacted to episode 1. We didn't end up watching episode 2 because the topics seemed kind of boring and it didn't get a lot of views. So I was like, okay, this might not be a great episode to watch. But this one, so the first episode of Her Take got 129K views. Not bad for a premiere. The second episode took a dip, 84K. But this one kind of bounced back. It's at 143K. It's their highest viewed episode so far. And I think it's because they have Ann Coulter, who is like an insane right-wing conservative like news pundit and media personality. She says like the most unhinged stuff. So the hope is The hope is that she says some crazy stuff and that these ladies fight. Okay, I'm not going to lie, folks. I just want to see these ladies argue and bicker. They're trying to pretend like it's this balanced panel with Democrats and Republicans all coming together to exchange ideas, even though they're all like Republican light. Like Anna Kasparian is the most left person on this panel. And if you guys know anything about TYT and like their trajectory recently, Anna Kasparian is much more of a centrist, I would say, at this point than like a leftist or a progressive. But anyways, let's catch up. I think I saw a couple of super chats. Let's catch up with those, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, there's a few super chats.
We got Mud sending £5 saying, spare the cat from hearing her take. Cat ear protection needed. Maki, I'm sorry. Maki, you're going to be struggling. You're struggling
He's asleep.
with this one.
He's fine.
And Mark sends $2 and says, hi, Anthony. Can you talk about Gary Lineker and BBC? I'd love to. Who are these people? Who's Gary Lineker?
No idea. You guys assume we know a lot.
Karine is going to find out who Gary is
Hello,
while
Google it.
we start reacting to her take. But as soon as I know who he is, I'll let you guys know everything I think about this fucking bastard Gary Lineker.
English broadcaster and former footballer.
Did he do something racist or fucked up? Right.
Suffered unfortunate first during match of the day farewell episode. We don't do football news around here.
Football. What did he do? He suffered a loss?
Suffered unfortunate first. What does? Hold on. I don't know what match of the day is, so I can't
Match
tell
of
you.
the day? I guess it's the game of the day? Football match of the
I
day?
don't know.
Yeah, what happened to the BBC Sports guy? Did he like
Let
die?
us know, guy. He's alive.
He's alive?
He's alive.
Like sex scandal? What's
Let us
going
know,
on?
Mark.
Let us know what's going on, and we'll tell you everything you need to know about Gary Lineker or Lineker. I don't even know how to say his name.
Oh, he got fired for being pro-Palestine.
Let's go. Fucking, he's based. Gary Lineker is pro-Palestine. He's fucking based. That's
based.
fucked up. What football club did he work for?
Many.
Fuck those football. Fuck whatever football club fired him. Fuck him. Never support them. Never buy a team jersey. Never do any of that stuff. With all that said, folks, let us watch the latest episode of Her Take, featuring the cringiest ladies on the internet. The title is Welfare is Warfare, and Coulter unloads on Biden, war, and welfare. Let's just read some of the comments before, because these are extremely cringe. This is wild seeing Anna and Ann sitting together having a civil conversation. All of these crazy podcasts like Joe Rogan or like Lex Friedman, all these cringy podcasts and like PBD. The comments are always like, I love seeing people with different takes having a civil conversation. Why can't everyone have a... Like, yeah, you want to have a fucking civil conversation with a white supremacist, bro? Like, I hate these people who want civil, nice conversations and civil disagreements with like, fucking racists who want you dead, you know what I mean? Oh, I love this nice level-headed conversation. Why can't everyone be so level-headed? This whole comment section is like this. I actually really enjoyed this. I think Anne should be a regular guest. She is perfect for the show. This is what the view should have been. Thank you, Valuetainment. Are these like bots? There's no way these are real comments.
They sound like bots. They sound like the Zionists that were under our video.
There's no way. Please consider keeping Anne as a permanent panelist. The chemistry here worked great, and the show would work amazingly with someone of her viewpoints. Okay, so can you already see who the audience is for this show? If they're saying that Ann Coulter has like great views for this show, this is a primarily Republican audience. This is who Anna Kasparian is literally appealing to right now. Hope you add this Ann lady permanently. She's great. Loving the vibe of so many different opinions backed with common sense and authenticity. Ah, yes, I can't wait to hear the common sense of Mindy Lee, who thinks that immigrants coming into America is part of the Great Replacement. And Ann Coulter. I can't wait for those level-headed takes. Great job, ladies, and thanks, PBD. Dude, there's no way these are real comments. If the Her Take show keeps up this energy and authenticity, I think they deserve a daily show on a major network. I really love to see this. Dude, I swear,
not gonna happen.
Dude, these are not real people. I'm here because PBD sent me. Great panel and show, ladies. I'm now a subscriber. This is what the view should be. Did not expect Ann and Anna to agree on 75% of things. Oh shit! I did not expect that at all. That's not a good thing. They should not be agreeing on 70. Anna and Ann Coulter should not be agreeing on 75% of things. That's all they should say. This needs to be on TV. Period. Intelligent women having an intelligent conversation. I love this. So a couple of more comments. These are great.
What is this video? Do you know what the topics of the day are? What they're going to be talking about?
They had them listed. They removed them. if you want to try to check out the description for it or something. But like definitely like warfare and like healthcare, I think, and like Biden,
yeah, can't
Biden's
wait.
health, I think. I am an American with a Hispanic heritage and an ex-Democrat, and I turned Republican in 2001, and I love Ann Coulter.
Yeah,
Ann
many
Coulter.
such cases.
This is the most balanced and nuanced conversation I've seen in independent media. Great work. How can you... Oh, okay, let's... Enough of this. I love Anna's bravery. Lindy needs to be called out for her support of Biden. Also, Jillian, as the moderator, she's doing a fantastic job. Anyways.
Oh, wow. They only have 40K subscribers?
Well, it's a new channel,
Yeah, but, I mean...
to be fair.
No, because the videos have way more views.
Yeah, I mean, it's growing.
So it's pretty funny.
I mean, they were at 28,000 last week. I think the Ann Coulter video got them like an extra 10K. All right, folks, we're going to start this. We're going to watch it at 1.25x speed. It's an hour and a half, so this should be like a couple hours long stream. Let's go.
I will call that MFR out.
Girl, why were you raising money for Biden then?
Because I didn't understand you. I just told you.
There we go. That's all I want, folks. I just want them ladies yelling at each other. I don't want none of that civil, oh, it's such a civil conversation and everyone's being so balanced. I don't want none of that. I want people fucking yelling across the table. I want Anna and Ann Coulter to like choke each other or something. Not really, but like, you know what I'm saying. I don't want them to agree on 75% of things. Horrible.
I know you get real
into
angry
it.
when people ask you that question,
Anna.
but you need to answer it. Don't yell at me.
No. Do you understand English? I just said
I
didn't.
do. You're lying though.
Do you really think that we can trust
I-
Iran?
Yes.
We allow them to
Yeah, we had in
Anna.
I hate this fucking like Seinfeld type like background music they have. It's so fucking cheap.
I don't trust Iran.
I know,
with
but
a
who
government.
cares? We deal with Saudi Arabia and their
Exactly.
monsters. After 9/11, I wanted to bomb the crap out of Iraq.
When is American policy no longer made in
You should have, again, go back to the comments. You should have guests like Ann Coulter on more often.
America? I don't. Why
No,
are we
because
doing
it's
this?
not. Because it has no effect on any American's life. Who cares who
Because
the leader of
women
Syria
don't
is?
march
Who's
through the
the leader?
naked and shot
Okay,
in the
Julian,
head.
why
That's
is the
the
leader?
worst.
It doesn't affect any
Actually,
American's life.
I agree
and we
with
don't
Ann. I
care.
agree with Ann.
We're all human here, guys.
Wait, but why is that a responsibility? Why do we need to be the sheriff of the entire world?
We're so overrun here in America due to the illegal immigration.
All right.
How are we meant to go and police on
There's something else.
People in the comments are like, Jerry. Steve, wasn't Steve the security guard? Steve. Do you know who Jerry Springer is? Oh, you know him.
I know Jerry Springer.
Did he die? He died, I think, right? Didn't Jerry Springer die, folks? Isn't that kind of fucking sad? I think Jerry Springer's dead. There's also Maury. Do you know Maury?
No.
He's like, you are the father. You are not the
Oh,
father.
yeah, I know that one. Jerry Springer he died, 2 years ago.
2 years. R.I.P. Pour one out for Jerry Springer, folks. The man. My parents did not used to let me watch Jerry Springer. I used to sneak into their bedroom and watch Jerry Springer with my cousins. R.I.P. Steve. Steve, what's his name? No, what did I say?
Jerry.
R.I.P. Jerry.
Wow.
I just called him Steve. Jerry, I'm sorry. Anyways. Back to her take.
Welcome to Her Take. Guys, if you're liking the show, could you do us a big favor? Like, comment, share, subscribe. It goes a long way for us.
You should
with the
subscribe to them.
algorithm, And I'm really
It's funny to see like TV stars, like she used to be on like The Biggest Loser and shit, like be like, hey, subscribe to our channel. It's like that's our thing, okay? TV stars, don't be coming into our turf and stealing our platforms.
But you know what's funny? They're pretending they're still on network TV because this is like the #1 network TV setup, like with the chairs and the desk.
this is definitely very network TV
Yeah.
coded. I don't know if they would like to end up on network TV, but
Yeah, that's their dream. For sure.
excited to say that our guest today is the one and only Ann Coulter. Ann, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thank you for being here. All right, we're going to jump right in. We're going to begin with a bombshell in the news. Former President Joe Biden has just been diagnosed with prostate cancer. Now, this drops just a few weeks after the Robert Hur audio.
by the way, we don't care. Just in case you guys want to know our take. I mean, I don't care. Do you care that Joe Biden, the butcher of Gaza, has prostate cancer at the age of 87 or some shit?
My grandpa has prostate cancer, so I don't care about Joe Biden having prostate cancer.
Oh, W's in the chat for Karin's grandpa. Get well soon for Karin's grandpa. That's very sad.
terminal.
I hope.
It's fine. He's old. He's in his late 80s.
Well, I mean, let's hope that
That's life, guys.
Let's hope that his transition is as smooth and painless as possible. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't know
Thank
that.
you.
That's
No,
like-
I didn't mean to be dark, but I mean, it's like normal. It's very normal. So.
But fuck
it
Joe
happens.
Biden, and like everyone's saying that like he probably had it for like a while and he was lying. Like he was trying to run for president, folks. Again, he's senile. He doesn't know where the fuck he is, and he had cancer, bro. What an asshole, bro. He's the reason Trump is elected.
Every time he tried to run for president, I'm like, imagine my fucking grandpa who's as senile as Joe Biden was running for president. I'd be like, that's fucking crazy.
Like, I can't believe it. And they tried to convince us for 4 years. No, he's fine. He's okay. Joe. Oh, I met Joe's fine. And like, he could do another 4 years. I'm like, oh, can you imagine another 4 years of Joe Biden, bro? Insane.
Where Biden struggled to recall basic facts about his son's death, his time as the vice president. And while the diagnosis is undeniably sad, it's raising questions about when did they really know? Is there a cover-up here? If so, why? And honestly, who in the heck has been running the country for the last 4 years?
Juicy
Cindy,
takes.
I know you're super passionate and raring to go, so take it away here, kid.
Thank you. And my first gut instinct was that this is his attempt at a sympathy play, but this is going 180.
Okay, by the way, this lady, she's now a Republican. She's an ex-Democrat who I think like helped raise money for Joe Biden. So like,
yeah,
she was like a Joe Biden fundraiser. So like everything she says, like she's like a complete grifter. Everything she says, take with not like a huge grain of salt. The biggest grain of salt you can imagine, like fucking that big. That's what you should take. Anything this lady says, you can't take anything she fucking says seriously.
Agrees of what he intended it to be. The timing could not have been more interesting and more architected from my point of view. I think he had known for years that he has been suffering from something. And honestly, this is just yet another cover-up. It's the latest cover-up in the Biden regime. They covered up his cognitive decline. They covered up his health issues. They covered up everything. Everything. The Democratic Party has a tremendous truth problem right now with the American people. And because of the years of lying, they now have forfeited any trust that the American people had in them.
Could I say something?
I mean, she's right.
Go for it.
I think we could.
What did she say at the end? I was reading one of the super chats. T sends $10 and says, because I agree. Karine is like, if you put Kat Dennings from Two Broke Girls, but make her Lebanese on ChatGPT, love her dry humor.
Oh, thank you. I went as her for Halloween a few years ago, so that's fun.
Oh, no way. My girlfriend watches that all the time, so I know exactly what she means now.
About whether or not they.
What was she saying?
She was saying that
Wait,
Democrats have been lying for so long, and now they don't have any trust anymore in their party.
Yeah, but you've been lying.
Yeah, you're also
Shut
a
up.
liar.
Problem right now with American people. And because of the years of
And by the way, T, thank you so much for the generous donation.
lying, they now have forfeited any trust that the American people had in them.
Could I say something?
Go for it.
I think we could surely speculate about whether.
And I mean, just before she, definitely, I agree. Like the fact that so many Democrats got on TV, got on news, like when I talk to Joe Biden, he reminds me of the Joe Biden of old. He's just great. And then like as soon as he lost the election, they're like, oh yeah, he was fucking crazy. He was fucking old as shit. Like you motherfucking liars. Like there's a book now that like Jake Tapper from CNN, he wrote a book about like the conspiracy and Joe Biden lying. But Jake Tapper was on CNN running cover for Joe Biden for 4 years. Now he wants to write a book exposing the cover-up. It's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Everyone in the mainstream media is complicit. Seriously, for the one time, like, Republicans were right about one thing is that, like, they would talk about it all the time on, like, Fox News and shit. Democratic news channels did not fucking mention that shit.
Or not they knew about his health condition, whether or not he had cancer prior to him running for a second term. What I think we absolutely could not speculate about is what his
I think she's Australian American now, something like that.
Oh, okay.
And so for me, whether the Democrats did something nefarious to cover it up in hopes that he gets a second term, that's one thing. But the fact that Jill Biden was literally on that debate stage, we did it, Joe. All of that rhetoric, when your husband should literally be at home, in bed, recovering, for me, it's more of an indictment on her as a wife than the Democrats when we're just purely speculating whether or not they knew he had cancer. Now they.
Okay, wait. I gotta do that. She mentioned Jill Biden on stage where she's like, "You did it, Joe. What did he do? Lie." It was, dude, Jill Biden. Sorry, we got it. Detour, folks. Jill Biden debate. Dude, that debate was. I need to rewatch that debate just for fun. I need to just watch that for fun. Dude, she's talking to him like he's a child, bro. Okay. This is dude, and she looks like the orc from Lord of the Rings, bro, when she does it too. Look at him, bro.
When was this?
This was after the debate with Trump.
Yeah, I remember.
Dude, he doesn't even know where he is. He's lost.
This is sad. It's really bad.
Oh, where am I? Who are these people? Oh, just shot myself.
I can't thank you support. Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all
I remember this.
You answered every question. You knew all the answers. It was like, yay!
You got an A.
It's like from The Simpsons, bro. Literally a moment from The Simpsons. Alistair Russell. Looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. Hell yeah, bro. He knows what I'm talking about. Bro, this is so fucking funny. وينو زلفي فوقشري زلفي اختفى ما بعرف وين زلفي. Honestly, but we'll try to get Zulfi back.
And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do?
Lie!
Yes. So,
Dude,
Joe, I'm
this
gonna-
lady is fucking evil, bro. Let's be real. Jill Biden. Okay, I gotta find the Jill Biden orc meme. Jill Biden orc. Sorry, folks. Just need 1 second. This is important shit we're doing here. Oh, is it not on Google? Could you try finding the Jill Biden orc Lord of the Rings? It might be hard to find. Lie. When she says lie. It's the guy who says, oh, they look tasty. It's that orc. What about their legs? They don't need those. Did you like the Lord of the Rings?
I know what you're talking about. I can't
Orc
find it.
Legs. I'll just find him. Okay, it's this guy. It's this guy. You just fill in the blanks, folks. We're not gonna. What about their legs? They don't need those. Oh, they look tasty. Yeah, so that's Jill Biden, basically. Anyways,
That was a detour.
sorry, folks. This is to my Lord of the Rings fans. Okay, back to. This is gonna take 7 hours to finish at this rate.
Wait, Nora
That was
said.
meant to-
Oh.
No, go for it. What?
No, Jill Biden looks like the lady that said Monster Energy drinks is part of the Illuminati. Yes! Bottoms up and the devil laughs. Yeah, she looks exactly like her.
I don't know who that is, to be honest with you guys.
Oh.
But I'd love to know. Okay.
Fine, that much we've certainly ascertained, right? But when it comes to the cancer thing, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
Can I weigh on this with a health thing real quick? There's no universe where they did not know that he had cancer. There's a PSA score for men. He has advanced prostate cancer right now. They would have caught this in his yearly physicals. I've interviewed enough oncologists to know.
Ethan's basement says W Lord of the Rings. W Ethan's fucking basement, the legend, the one and only, in the live chat right now.
That I just find it almost impossible to believe we just discovered this. Now, I don't get the whole timing sympathy thing, and I'm going to pass over here to this side of the table.
I mean, I don't think that this was like some cynical ploy to garner sympathy or empathy for Joe Biden at a time when a lot of people are upset with him and the Democratic Party for the very real cover-up regarding his mental decline. I don't know whether or not they had caught this cancer earlier, he kept it on the down low, and is now going public with it. I have no idea, and I don't really want to speculate on it. What I will say is that once you're caught in the type of lie Biden and the Democratic Party got caught in, I don't really begrudge people for questioning whether this was a diagnosis that he knew about earlier and is now just coming out with it as if it's a new diagnosis. I just think they need to be honest. They need to build trust and credibility among the American people. That's going to take some time. But what I keep feeling from the Democrats.
Well, some people are saying that they revealed that he has cancer now because the book just came out, like the book that exposes the lie and like the conspiracy to hide his like true condition from people. It just came out like this weekend. So they're trying to like offset the bad press with like, oh, but poor Joe Biden's got cancer. So that might be a reason why they decided to drop the news now. I'm sure he fucking knew, bro. You can't have late stage fucking, what is it, colon cancer, prostate cancer, and you're the president. They get routine medical checkups. Like, you know what I mean? Those motherfuckers knew what was up, and he ran for president, most likely knowing he had fucking prostate cancer.
Party is just this level of selfishness, this level of wanting to rise up the political ranks without being honest with the American people, and that's hurt the party overall.
I think it's a little late for honesty. I think there are only two interesting things about this. One is the reason, any doctor who looked at him would have known that he had it for 8 years.
Absolutely.
But they couldn't let a real doctor look at him because a real doctor would say he's got Parkinson's, you got to get him out of it.
100%.
So by not allowing a real doctor to look at him, it just went on and on and on and on. And the other, I think, interesting thing is it was really weird that Biden leapt in and wanted a debate in June. It was because his poll numbers were going down. The Reagan-Carter debate was one.
Yo, she's like trembling. I know we're watching this at 1.25x, but like, she's like legit trembling. Is she always like this? Check this out.
It was really weird that Biden leapt in and wanted a debate in June. It was because his poll numbers were going down. The Reagan-Carter debate was 1 week before the election. If they had
know if she's
waited
also
and
like
done
this.
it then, the media would have had to power through and say, no, his performance was fine. He's great. Never seen him better.
Look, I will agree with her that they either the doctors that were given access to Joe Biden were either like paid off or told like, yo, you can't reveal any of this shit, or they just had like some hack fucking doctors like Dr. Nick from The Simpsons. Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Nick. So it could be that kind of a situation, like some fucking sketchy ass dude. Like yeah, or like a vet, like in movies, you know, and when the criminal can't go to a real doctor, they go to a veterinarian, and then that's where they get the bullet stitched up. You know what I mean? A visit to the vet. That's what could have happened. You know, a veterinarian was looking after Joe Biden, and that's what's been going on.
Might have won re-election, and today Kamala would be our president.
Anne brings up a really good point because I want to talk about that doctor. You know who that doctor was? Kevin O'Connor. This is a family business associate. He had a financial interest in propping up the Biden regime, and that is a fundamental problem here. People lied about his cognitive decline because they wanted power. Let's be perfectly honest.
Jill.
about that.
Oh, can you
Exactly.
pause?
Jill Biden, and
Yeah.
I will name the names.
That's all politicians, though. That's all of politics. It's all lies. I don't know why we're discussing this as if this is so weird and no one has ever done this. Politicians are constantly lying to each other and to the public.
Look, Karine, we're speaking to Americans. We're Lebanese folks. Our government is like ranked.
Yeah, but even Americans.
I don't know, like what are we ranked in corruption, like in the world?
I don't know. First.
We're in the top 5.
Yeah.
Well, can you look it up? It's actually kind of interesting. I think we're like
We are in the top
We're in the
5.
top 5. We might even be top 3 of most corrupt countries in the world. So to us, politicians lying, stealing. You know how many grants Lebanon has gone from like foreign countries like Europe. We do these conferences where we beg for money. You know what I mean? Give us billions of dollars so we can like build this and invest in this. Politicians just lining their pockets left and right. Nothing gets done for the people. They've enriched themselves. We were explaining like our electricity situation to Noah Sampson. Like we got 6 hours of government provided electricity a day. Then people pay for their own private generators. Like it's all crazy. It's so fucking corrupt.
Okay, out of 180 countries, Lebanon is the 154th least corrupt nation.
We're in the top 30 most
Top
corrupt.
30 most
top
corrupt.
30, babe. Let's go. But damn, there's 30 countries worse than us. That's fucking crazy.
I mean, there's like all of Africa and all of South America. They're fucked.
But
Come in.
we've made it through 6 minutes. We've made it through 6 minutes of this video.
An hour and something left.
Jill Biden, Steve Ricchetti, Mike Donilon, Anita Dunn, Anthony Bernal. These were Jeff Zients. These were the people running our country. We had a council of presidents for the past few years. We didn't have an elected president. We had these unelected hacks who understood that Biden was our final gravy train, that as soon as he went off into the sunset, they were done. So they wanted to drag us on for forever.
Can I jump in on that? Because you mentioned all the unelected people who were involved in the cover-up of Biden's mental decline, which is true. But there are also elected lawmakers who are currently in Congress who also engage in that cover-up. Representative Jim Clyburn, who's supposed to be like a sacred cow in the Democratic Party, knew of Biden's mental decline. It's outlined perfectly in that book, Fight. And basically, on the night of the debate, he got a bunch of invites to watch, like viewing parties for the debate. And he said, no, I don't want to go. He decided to watch the debate alone in case he cried over Biden's poor performance. Yes. How depressing is that?
Oh, wow.
That's fantastic.
Well, I have a question on what do you mean, though?
What was she saying? I fucking zoned out.
Come in, I saw down reading chat.
I was looking at the live chat.
He cried over Biden's poor performance. Yes. How depressing is that?
Oh, wow.
That's fantastic.
Well,
Look, everything they're saying about Joe Biden right now, I can't disagree. Like, you know what I mean? Lindy Lee was a fucking liar, and like, you know, she was propping up that she was part of that whole establishment. You know, so hindsight is 20/20, I guess. But like, they're not wrong. You know what I mean? It was a conspiracy. It was a lie. The Democratic Party has lost so much trust with the audience, with the public.
I have a question on what do you mean, though, the timing is suspicious? I'm not following your train of thought there.
I refuse to believe that Biden found out he had cancer literally the day before Jake Tapper's book drops. I mean, I'm just sorry.
Oh, there we go.
Connection. I don't get it.
Because
Jake
people
Tapper's
are
book-
supposed to feel sorry for him and they won't attack
And you
him.
know what?
One of them, like Carville, one of them,
I get it.
Axelrod went on TV and said, you know,
Everyone calm
criticism of Biden should be muted now.
Exactly.
He's dying.
And Jillian, like,
I get it. Books about to come.
Yeah, Carville is another fucking ghoul. Like, that dude is a fucking zombie at this point. He looks like a fucking orc from the Lord of the Rings.
Mia?
Carville, like, I forgot what his fucking first name is, but like, want to talk about orcs?
I got it.
I like
understand.
Meghan McCain,
Did-
but
I didn't know they cared, though. I'm so sorry. I mean,
know.
you propped up this guy who's been on death's door for 4 years, and now you care how he feels?
David Axelrod was one of the few people who said that Biden needed to step aside. I like Meghan McCain, but I have to vociferously disagree with what she's been saying for the 24 hours, which is essentially give Biden and the regime a break. No, we're not giving them a break anymore. They lied to the American people. They got us in this leftist woke mess. They need accountability.
This woke mess.
The woke that is Joe Biden. Yeah, he was very leftist.
But also, yeah, I mean, it is super, like, for Meghan McCain to be like, just be respectful. Like, look, when politicians are sick or like when they pass away, if they were shitty people, if they started wars, if they caused the deaths of hundreds of thousands of people, who gives a shit if they get whatever happens to them, whatever ailment they get? Like, I'm sorry, I was talking about that before. Like, I have limited sympathy at this point. My sympathy goes to victims. My sympathy goes to people who need my sympathy, not to an 87-year-old president who shouldn't have been president, who has all the money in the world to get the best healthcare ever. Like, you know what I mean? The dude, like Joe Biden with his policies has caused the death of countless people, whether it's by denying them healthcare, whether it's by letting Netanyahu do whatever the fuck he wants in Gaza. Like, it's endless. So no sympathy for Joe Biden. Super chat?
Yeah. T sent another $5 and said, Lebanese do not worry fan, but I think in the US the way it works is the doctor would turn a blind eye to conducting further tests versus actually hiding. So so Joe Biden's doctor would just lie.
Just no tests at all, huh?
Yeah.
And thank you so much, T, for the support. Very much appreciated. So I guess they're just not doing the tests instead of lying about it. Okay. Back.
I'm so sick.
Well, also, the media figures don't have prostate cancer. Okay, be nice to Biden, but you still got to hold Jake Tapper responsible.
100%. Let me ask you, ladies, what do you think about having some types of
Ask
mandates
you,
in place
ladies.
to check out not only
Let me
mental
ask you
capacity, but
guys.
also physical capacity? Because interestingly enough, Nancy Pelosi and I believe it was Jamie Raskin tried to introduce something in 2020 when they were actually concerned about Donald Trump. That then would have passed on to other administrations too. Anna, you look like you have some thoughts on that.
I mean, it's just interesting because
Australian
the
accents are really
calls
funny.
for a mental test for the president were loud from the Democratic Party as it pertained to Donald Trump, but obviously radio silence when it came to Joe Biden. Look, there are working class Americans right now who literally have to get drug tested to qualify for work.
Right.
What did I miss?
They have to get drug tested to prove that they...
She's just saying that it's crazy that they wouldn't test him to be president, even though working class Americans have to get drug tested to do regular human jobs.
I mean, look, there should be an age limit to being president. Like, there's no way you can elect
Trump is too old to be president.
You can't elect 80-year-olds to be president, bro. Even like 70-year-olds, you got to like. I think the cutoff age is like if 70. That's it. If you're older than 70, you can't be president, bro. Like, you can't. Like, people to work at Best Buy in the States, like people have to get drug tests and shit. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? If you want to be president, you can walk in there with literally slop for brains of this president. Joe Biden's brains is like cereal and milk. Literally, dude. There's nothing. There's nothing solid in there anymore. Like Haram, he's like an old man. I'm not trying to be a dick. Like people struggling with dementia and shit like that. Like, I've seen it in my own family. Like, it's no laughing matter. Like, if Joe Biden wasn't like the butcher of Gaza, and if he wasn't responsible for such bad policies, part of me would actually feel bad for him because he would remind me of my old relatives who were sick. I'd be like, just let this man fucking sleep. Let him rest. He shouldn't be paraded around as a president. You know what I mean? When he should just be in bed resting. But because, he's responsible for the deaths of countless innocents, it's like, fuck him.
are capable to do the job, how is it that the President of the United States doesn't have to pass some sort of physical and mental exam to make sure he or she, in the future maybe, is up for the job?
Well, I think it's a bad idea, and it's really not necessary. The Democrats, because they have the media, could power through on this one. But boy, has it come to bite them in the ass. So I don't think somebody's going to do it again. And I just feel like anything like that, it can be made fun of, it can be manipulated. You get a political doctor, you attack the doctor. The party's just
it's really hard to feel bad for the Democratic establishment. Like, they really asked for this. Like, they had a chance to elect Bernie Sanders, and the Democratic establishment coalesced and came together like the fucking Avengers to make sure that Bernie Sanders wasn't elected, bro. Because Bernie Sanders would actually enact real change. He would actually stop the pouring of money into the pockets of politicians. He would have actually stood up for working class Americans, and come hell or high water, bro, they did whatever they fucking could to make sure Bernie Sanders was not elected president. So they fucking stood by the only person who had any juice, who they thought could be Joe Biden, and that was who thought they could be Donald Trump, and that was Joe Biden. No one else had any juice. Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, Amy Klobuchar, all these fucking hacks. No one would have ever voted for them. Joe Biden had the association because he was Obama's vice president. So they're like, let's put all our chips in the Joe Biden train. And look what fucking happened, bro. Look what happened.
be honest about this. Well, we saw this in the very beginning. I remember.
And it's Rami Winter saying Bernie supported Joe. I got really mad at Bernie for supporting Joe and for like, for you know, just fucking joining the chorus and making us vote for Biden. I never voted for Biden, by the way. Would never do that.
I interview doctors all the time in all different subspecialties, and so many of them were suggesting, like, I think he might have Lewy body dementia.
Yes.
He might have.
We talked about the Parkinson's.
Yeah, a form of Parkinson's. Like this, the writing was on the wall for this. So if I could be slightly conspiratorial here for just a moment, and of course everybody jump in and attack me, but I remember back in January 2024, we were seeing people like Megyn Kelly and Dave Rubin talking about the fact that there was a memo leaked, and that the goal was to have a debate earlier, to discredit him early enough, to not have a primary, have an open convention.
Oh, so they're talking about having the debate. I'm reading. It's
Live chat,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, guys. You're still connected. Can you check on your what's happening with the live?
I'm بعلق شوي بس I thought it was your Wi-Fi because I'm on your Wi-Fi.
No, it's not the Wi-Fi. 4G acting up again. Let's see what's happening, folks. Sorry, we're trying to figure it out. Technical difficulties. I usually freak out when these happen. Let's see. Difficulties. I usually freak out when these happen. Let's see. Let's remain calm. Seems to be working, I guess. Let me see. No, it looks frozen. What's chat saying? Can you check on what's happening?
We back.
We back? Okay, folks. Sorry about that. We live in Lebanon. Don't forget.
He was going to pull it off.
Come
They
on.
actually.
No way.
No, they actually did. And they
Actually,
were
when that
hoping-
happens, we lose so many viewers, though. Like, that's what I fucking hate.
Unfortunately, I mean,
you guys can't
everything
wait
went to
3
shit.
seconds?
But let me tell you, things got so bad at Biden events, they confiscated my phone. They put it in a Ziploc bag outside of the venue, and I wasn't allowed to take any video. I was actually called out specifically, and they were told, I was told I was not allowed to post anything. I posted an Instagram story. I had
It seems
a
to be
staffer from
clipping.
the DNC chair literally tell.
Seems to be clipping. Just keep me updated on how it's looking.
It looks
On your
fine
end.
on my end.
And it looks choppy on my end.
Oh.
So I'm going to move just so that I can... Yeah, it looks choppy as fuck. Why is that happening, bro? It's so annoying. And now the live went to black. Am I still connected? What is going on? Okay, it's like the live just reset. Okay, so the same thing that happened yesterday is happening now again.
Lindy, take it down. They were sent.
It's happening again.
It's working on the.
No, it's not. Read the chat. They're saying like the live is ending. Hala, try to rewind to the beginning of the live. Yeah, if you rewind to the beginning of the live, it's only like 50 seconds long now. So it's like it's restarting.
في هيك وهيك عالم بيقولوا it's good.
Okay, seems to be working now. We'll figure it out later. So just keep telling me if it's working, all right?
Okay.
If it looks so smooth on your end. Sorry, folks.
Specifically, and they were told, I was told I was not allowed to post anything. I posted an Instagram story. I had a staffer from the DNC chair literally tell me, Lindy, take it down. They were censoring my own personal social media because I made them look old. And they were, the DNC, Jamie Harrison, I will call that MFer out. He was screening questions. He had us submit questions, and he would pre-approve them or not. And he would only pick 2 or 3 questions for Biden to answer. Easy, softball questions. And all of us were waiting at the edge of our seat with bated breath, just praying to God that he would be able to finish the sentence.
So you knew about his mental decline during the election.
And
but you continued raising money for his campaign.
No, I didn't. I went on air before the debate, actually, saying that he had declined. And you know what? They called me the night before because they post the Fox News Sunday guests in Politico.
Okay, seems to be working.
They called me and said, Lindy, we know you're the president's most loyal supporter. We know you're going to be loyal.
Wow.
Sorry, guys. Again, Lebanese internet, like the Wi-Fi is garbage, and then the 4G is like inconsistent as fuck, and I'm using hotspot from my phone to my laptop. Excuse us. I'm sorry. We're figuring this out. We're new with this. Don't forget, folks. Anyways, back to the show.
I know, and this is like Tony Soprano shit.
So the first time you spoke out about the Democratic Party was the night before the debate.
Or else what?
But
I think it makes them look too good to say they were trying to get him out. And as various people have said, some people depended on him being president,
Exactly. Right.
especially the entire Biden family. Oh, they are SOL now. Every other president retires and gets, $1 million speeches, and everybody wants to read the biography. The Biden family, he's always been the poorest senator, and they're not making any money now.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to have him speak. And Anita Dunn and the rest of them, Ron Klain, this was their path to power.
Exactly.
They did fight like banshees to keep him in. They wouldn't have fought that hard if they were trying. But
Yeah, so what they're talking about normally, like when ex-presidents, like when they're done being president, they do a lot of speeches, they go to like conferences, they get paid a lot of money, they write books, they do all that. Like you can't imagine, Joe Biden can't even walk to his own bathroom unaccompanied probably, so no one's going to hire him, no firm, no company's going to bring Joe Biden on for his speech at their conference or anything like that. I don't even think, he can't even fucking sign a restaurant check, let alone write a book at this point. So, yeah, I don't think making money through those, yeah, that's why they wanted to keep him president, because that was the only way they could be relevant. They could kind of use his sway as president to make some deals. Now that that's done, but they have a lot of money stashed away.
a lot of people thought your theory could be true because, wow, did it happen that
It happened
way?
exactly the way they had predicted.
But it
And
took
I was
a
like,
few
all right,
weeks.
that's bizarre.
It took a few weeks. They fought like banshees.
Speaking of Anita, I would get emails from Anita Dunn saying, thank you for your loyalty. Just one line, and it was like they were running a mafia, I kid you not. And in 2023, I'm going to call somebody else out.
I'm going to give you a button after this.
Everybody knows that because they're witnesses. In 2023, I raised this concern about his decline to Ken Martin, the current head of the chair. And he looked at me like I was crazy. And I had witnesses when I did this. I had
In 2023, you raised concern. Bro, Joe Biden had mental decline in like 2015. 2016, 2017, he was already in mental decline. Like by the time he ran for president, like that was already way too late. Even when he was Obama's vice president, he was known for making gaffes all the time, like getting names wrong, getting dates wrong, saying the wrong thing at the wrong time. I don't think those were gaffes. I think those are like early stage symptoms of like early stage dementia or memory loss or whatever he has. That's what that was.
Here's from The Wire, the shit guy. Remember? Shit, that's him.
Guy.
And then I had my brother and a room full of people saying, David Ignatius had dropped an article in the Washington Post on September 12, 2023, the retreat that we did in Chicago with Kamala Harris is September 13th. And I said to Ken Martin, are you not concerned about Biden's decline? He's like, oh no, don't be ridiculous. He made me feel like I was crazy.
I made everyone feel like they were crazy, honey. It's not
Okay,
just
you were right, Lindy. Let's move on to the next
No,
topic.
we're going on, kid. All right, so the next big story is obvious.
And Coulter
She's like, "Halantis."
with the attitude. I guess she doesn't
Donald
believe
Trump's
her.
recent trip to the Middle East, where he secured $600 billion from the Saudis, another $1.2 trillion commitment from Qatar. But what's driving the most attention is President Trump's reported interest in brokering a new framework with Iran that's aimed at easing tensions and addressing nuclear concerns.
He also got a plane from Qatar. Like Qatar, they gave him like an airplane. I don't know if it's like a private jet or what kind of plane, but like they gifted him a plane, and that got a lot of people angry and upset. Especially like they're like, Trump, you're rich, and the whole point of Trump was like that he doesn't need anyone's money, he doesn't need bribes, and he's being given like airplanes, which is obviously a huge conflict of interest.
And I know you're chomping at the bit on this one.
Yes.
Take us away.
Well, there's a really interesting divide currently taking place within the Republican Party between, I would say, the more traditional conservative Republicans that identify as neoconservatives and then the America First MAGA crowd that does
Obviously.
not want to go to war with Iran, or they don't want to go to war with anybody, right? So Donald Trump has softened his tone in regard to Iran. You know, he was talking about bombing their nuclear sites incessantly, by the way, and all of a sudden he's in Saudi Arabia giving a speech kind of trashing neoconservatives. Let's take a look.
This great transformation has not come from Western interventionists or flying people in beautiful planes giving you lectures on how to live.
By the way, if anyone's just joining the live stream, if it seems a bit short, it's because we had like the live dropped. So once the live is over, the whole thing will be uploaded eventually on YouTube. You'll be able to see the first part. Now, if you're on the live stream, you're not going to be able to go back to the beginning. So I apologize for that, but it'll work in the replay.
How to govern your own affairs? No. The gleaming marvels of Riyadh and Abu Dhabi were not
Riyadh
created
and
by
Abu
the
Dhabi.
so-called nation builders, neocons, or liberal nonprofits like those who spent trillions and trillions of dollars failing to develop Kabul, Baghdad, so many other cities. Instead,
Beirut?
the birth of a modern Middle East has been brought down. The people of the region
He doesn't give a fuck about Beirut.
Doesn't give a fuck.
themselves, the people that are right here, the people that
Even though
have
his
lived here all
son-in-law is like Lebanese or like half Lebanese.
I
One
don't
of
think
his-
he gives a fuck about Tiffany.
He doesn't
or
give
her
a
son-in-law.
fuck, bro. Yeah, that like makes no difference for this guy.
their lives, developing your own sovereign countries, pursuing your own unique visions, and charting your own destinies in your own way. It's really incredible what you've done.
Now, if you take what Trump is saying there at face value and you're anti-war, that was great. But it's kind of hard to believe anything Trump says because he goes back and forth so many times. Now, some argue the money he's getting from Qatar, these deals with Saudi Arabia, the $2 billion that Saudi Arabia invested in Jared Kushner's investment fund, those are the motivating factors behind Trump's willingness to engage diplomatically with Iran to get a nuclear deal rather than bomb their nuclear sites. But Trump says it has something to do with this. Take a look.
You're right. The neocon element believes that war is the only way to solve things. And the president believes that his force of personality, the way he is going to respond to situations, can bend people to do things in a much better way in the interest of the United States government, and I believe in that too.
Now that's Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's golfing buddy, real estate investor, but more importantly, he is Trump's Middle East envoy, and he wants diplomacy from what I've gathered, from what he's been saying and doing. But there's one other factor that I want to kind of...
Steve Witkoff, he's the guy, he's one of the reasons why they were able to get that short little ceasefire between, in Gaza, like a couple of months ago, the one that has completely been broken, and now they're starving them and they're murdering them, all that shit again. But like he was one of the guys who put that deal together. Whoopsie.
Into this because Trump explains that he changed his mind on potentially going to war with Iran due to a conversation he had with Qatar's Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. Let's take a look.
What?
And is very lucky to have the emir because he's actually fighting for them. He doesn't want us to do a vicious blow to Iran. He says, you can make a deal, you can make a deal. He's really fighting, and I really mean this. I think that Iran should say a big thank you to the emir because the emir is fighting very much that we don't. And there are many people that want me to go the other route.
Do you think he knows what an emir
They
is?
say, just knock it out because nobody can beat us. No, we have the strongest military in the world by far. Not China.
I love that they're like reacting to like, look,
They're reacting.
We're part of the show. Like I'm up here, you're up here, and then we got the view, ladies, are right down here, folks.
Inception.
We're all together watching a show, watching Trump.
Not Russia, not anybody.
Now, the United States didn't do so great in Iraq and Afghanistan. Iran's military is definitely more robust than Iraq's was, for instance. So going to war with Iran would not be a simple task, and it could potentially be disastrous for the American people. If it turns into a full-blown war, American soldiers could die. We should avoid war. So I love the fact that he's pursuing diplomatic means to get a new nuclear deal that'll prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons. They just had their fourth round of talks. They did not reach a conclusion, but Trump says that they're getting closer. Whether you believe him or not, that's a different story. But I commend him for wanting to pursue this diplomatically.
Can I ask you guys a bunch of questions and then okay? 'Cause
I mean, sure, of course, diplomacy is better than war. No one wants, no one wants to go to war with Iran. It would make no sense for anyone in the region, neither for the U.S., neither for Iran. But I mean, if the U.S. and if all these European countries want nuclear weapons, why can't Iran have them, bro? Like this whole thing of like, we can have them, but you can't. I mean, no one should have nuclear weapons. Either no one has nuclear weapons or everyone gets fucking nuclear weapons. That's how it should work in my fucking opinion. You can't have like, I mean, obviously the most unstable people shouldn't get them, but like Donald Trump is way more unstable than like Iran in my opinion. Like, you know what I mean? Like either no one has them or everybody gets them. Let's have some fun.
Oh my God.
my first thing is, why did you brag then for the past 8 years?
I'm kidding, by the way. Obviously, the least amount, less nuclear weapons on Earth, the better. People, like, you know how many times the world has almost been, like, has disappeared because of accidental nuclear weapon launches? Like, it's happened accidentally almost, like, many times, so.
Do not nuke Iran because we'd go with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Do not nuke Iran.
Leave us alone, folks.
It's about how your strangulation tactics have worked, that you bankrupted them, you took out Soleimani, brag, and then complete, hard 180. In addition, which we're going to get to in a minute, we know that
Kazia, we're trying to raise the volume a little bit.
Qatar has invested more in America than any other country, arguably, and we'll litigate that in just a moment. But I question those motives for nefarious reasons, not just diplomacy. My next question is it ideal to sideline Israel? So think about all this and then get back.
Yes, it's a good idea to sideline Israel. That's the only good thing you said today.
Because they weren't a part of these negotiations, and they're our top ally in the region. And then the third part is, do you really think that we can trust Iran? So we allow them to
we had something called the JPCOA. Okay.
You can trust Iran, you can't trust Israel. Look at this person, she's fucking like, oh, but what about Israel? They didn't have, because they don't want anything to do with peace deals. Israel does not want peace. Israel and peace deal, those two things don't go together, okay? They don't want no peace, they just want war. Israel is the horniest country for war with Iran. They're the ones who want the most war with Iran. It's fucking Israel, bro.
Israel would rather nuke us all, including itself, than have peace.
Yeah,
literally.
Peace is not part of the vocabulary that they stole from the Arabic language.
That was the Iran nuclear deal that Obama and other countries, by the way, 4 other countries had negotiated with Iran. There were checks to ensure that Iran was not enriching uranium.
He's going
They
to
would
allow
go
them
into
to
the
enrich
country.
uranium, though.
Huh?
He's going to allow
right
them
now.
to do it.
I mean,
and then they're allowed to get to 90%.
But there are inspectors, and
I'm
I'm
gonna be
glad you
honest,
just
she's
played
kinda
that,
hot.
what Trump said over there. This is one of the
Not
most
Ann
important things
Coulter,
of his presidency.
Jillian.
It's
Agreed.
a huge change.
I'm
The Trump
sorry.
doctrine. This is what the American people voted for. I have a chapter on him taking this position in Trump We Trust. It was one of the reasons I supported him in 2016. But then, first term, he appointed Jared Kushner president, and turns out we had to keep going around bombing everyone, like you mentioned, Soleimani, which was a terrible, horrible idea. Let's just put that behind us. This is the new Trump. And this is the uniparty against the American people. We have zero interest in going to war with Iraq. A lot of Americans will die.
Yes.
A lot. We should
Yeah,
not have
only
military
American
bases
lives
around
matter.
the world. We have enough trouble.
I know, right? What did I miss something? What were they talking about?
No, they're just talking about no, Americans don't want to go to war with Iran.
With Iran? Okay.
In our country, the anti-war left and the MAGA right should come together because this is
Yes.
and he said it in that speech. A lot of people want to go to war. Oh my gosh! And that's probably why he keeps saying these stupid things about I'm going to stand up to Iraq or Iran because there is going to be enormous pressure on him to go to war. We have no interest in going to war.
That's my question is the leverage of getting Iran to comply is if you don't comply, then I'll bomb you out.
You know what's happened? If I could respond to that in particular.
Please.
I used to wonder, why does Iran need nuclear?
Jillian Michaels just wants fucking war, bro. She's like, why don't we just bomb Iran?
Why don't we just bomb everyone?
But if we don't do that, like, what did she just say? Like, she's like disappointed that like Ann Coulter is showing restraint.
Question is the leverage of getting Iran to comply is if you don't comply, then I'll bomb you out.
You know what's happened?
Then I'll bomb you out. Like, this was, we'll just bomb you out. What is it, like a fucking game? We'll just bomb you out if you don't comply.
It is a game to them, yeah.
You want to get bombed out? What does that mean? Crazy. Maki, you coming back? Maki, you coming back?
Making biscuits.
You coming back making some biscuits? Oh, making little biscuits. Making little biscuits?
You're gonna fall.
Little biscuits? All right, back.
If I could respond to that in particular.
Please.
I used to wonder, why does Iran need nuclear power? Aren't they sitting on
He's
something
stepping on
else
my
they
keyboard.
Could use for fuel?
He's drinking
well, yes,
your
they
drink.
can, but they export fuel. It's how they make money. So if they can get some of their energy from nuclear, there actually is a reason for them to have nuclear energy. Point one. Point two, every time Bush would walk away and say, no, not until you have completely dropped all of your enrichment, they would just keep enriching, and now they're on the verge of getting a nuclear bomb. If you would just
Let them
negotiate with
enrich.
them
You guys
and
want to
said,
enrich uranium? Y'all want to enrich some uranium? Let the Iranians enrich their uranium. Okay, that's how it works. Stop it. Stop gatekeeping nukes. I'm kidding. We need to No one should have nukes. Everyone should start decreasing the amount of nukes they have. We should eventually get to a point where there are 0 nukes on the planet. 0 nuclear weapons. Would that ever happen? Will that ever happen? No. So Iran must have nukes to defend itself from the genocidal Israeli regime. That's what I believe. If the Israelis are going to have them, fuck it. We should have them too.
Okay, you may enrich for nuclear power, but we're sending in inspectors. Obama wouldn't do it. Obama did do it. Bush wouldn't do it. Obama did it. My party went nuts. It's a better idea. Look, Pakistan has a nuclear bomb. We can't trust them. North Korea has a nuclear bomb. We can't trust them. It may be that at some point Iran gets a nuclear bomb. They're closer to it.
By the way, don't forget, the only country to ever drop a nuclear bomb is the United States of America. 2. In Japan. Right? Did anyone else ever drop another nuclear weapon? No. The Americans are the only ones to ever do it. Karine is going to fact check that for us right now, folks. But if I'm not mistaken, folks, they're hypocrites, okay? What's the news, Karine?
Yeah, you're right.
America's the only one, huh?
Yeah. Little boy and fat man.
Send in inspectors. This is huge what Trump is doing.
I
This
agree.
is absolutely
I
huge.
totally
And it's
agree.
interesting how it didn't get that much press. It should have been a 2-inch headline at the top of the New York Times.
I agree with you that it's the most important story in the news today.
Okay.
I think that Donald Trump has really changed the Republican Party. I mean, I remember the Bush years. The Republican Party was the pro-war party. And to be sure, those types of figures still do exist within the Republican Party. But to answer your question about Netanyahu.
I mean, Trump keeps saying that Netanyahu can do whatever the fuck he wants with Gaza, and like he should. And then they made the Riviera video. Like, let's not give Donald Trump a Nobel Peace Prize just yet, Anna Kasparian.
And him being alienated from these negotiations. Let me make clear.
I know you don't like him, but
No,
just-
I despise him.
I
but
get that you
putting that
despise
aside,
him, but
I can put my bias aside
Okay.
and just give you the facts, right? Netanyahu is the one who convinced Donald Trump in his first term to basically get rid of the Iran nuclear deal, because Netanyahu doesn't want a deal. He wants the United States to go to war with Iran on behalf of Israel, just as we did with Iraq back in 2003. In the lead up to the
war with Iran the first time.
in the lead up to the war with Iraq, you had the Israeli intelligence.
Shut up, Jillian Michaels. Shut the fuck up. I'm speaking.
In the lead up to the
war with Iran the first time.
In the lead up to the war with Iraq, you had the Israeli intelligence, organization coming out and saying, "Oh, not only do they have weapons of mass destruction, Iraq is also developing bioweapons, and oh, it's so dangerous." So they had been pushing the United States to go to war with Iraq. We did go to war with Iraq. It was a complete.
Folks, we got Mohsen in the live chat. We have a link pinned to the description of the video for this video, okay? Click that link and you can donate to help Mohsen. He's with his family. They're in Gaza, okay? Their house was destroyed by the IDF. They're like a family of 20 people. This community has already helped raise like over 5,000 pounds for Mohsen.
8,756.
They're at 8,756. This was started by Harley, our viewer. So if you guys would like to encourage, Karine, can you pin that comment, Karine, on top?
Yeah.
And you guys can donate if you're feeling charitable. Mohsen, Allah yawi khaye.
Disaster. And if you go back and you read all the details about everything that happened before that preemptive invasion, okay, you'll see very similar trends. You'll see parallels. We should not go to war with Iran. We should approach this diplomatically. I don't want soldiers to go to Iran. I don't want people to die. I want a deal, and I want us to use our resources on the American people.
I agree with you. I'm simply saying we didn't.
I'm simply saying let's just scare them a little bit. Can we like bomb their beaches? Just to scare them. Just a few bombs, Anna. Just a few fucking drone strikes.
She's going crazy and foaming at the mouth.
Demon voice like, we need to bomb Anna Kasparian. We must scare them just a little bit. I agree with Anna right now, folks. Okay, I agree with what Anna's saying. Okay, we must kill all of the Iranians, Anna.
Go to war with Iran the first time, and it was like I bankrupted them. They were nowhere. Like, why not continued strangulation and sanctions? I don't trust Iran. I mean, the Sharia law, like you're dealing with
Sharia law. They have Sharia law. Ooh.
a government.
Cares? We deal with Saudi Arabia and their monsters, and just I think I should probably defend.
And they're monsters. She's calling them monsters. I mean, look, the government. You can say what you will about the Saudi government, of course. It has been quite violent and horrific. But the people of Saudi Arabia could be quite based. And actually, the people of Saudi Arabia, folks, stand firm with the people of Palestine. In my experience and what I've seen and what I've seen online, but like, you know, for to just generalize, pretty fucking racist.
Iraq since I was a huge supporter. So I just quickly want to say after 9/11, I wanted to bomb the crap out of Iraq and Afghanistan. I still would, but I didn't.
Whoa!
What did she say?
You need to hear that.
Crap out of Iraq and Afghanistan. I still.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and their monsters, and just I think I should probably defend the war in Iraq since I was a huge supporter. So I just quickly want to say after 9/11, I wanted to bomb the crap out of Iraq and Afghanistan. I still would, but I didn't want to stay 20 years.
I still would. Oh my! Jillian Michaels sitting there like, oh yes, yes, and Coulter, more blood. Relax, Jillian Michaels. Okay.
I can understand.
Nobody said we're going to stay 20 years.
But Iraq had nothing to do.
We should have just stayed for 5 years. Just kill him for 5 years and then we leave. What did Iraq have to do with 9/11? Please, Ann Coulter, enlighten me. What did the Iraqis have to do with 9/11? By the way, Saddam Hussein, very controversial figure, very bad leader to a lot of his people, but pretty based on Palestine. Saddam Hussein, pretty based on Palestine. Gotta say that. Also, there was an old BBC show. What was it called? House of Saddam. Fucking watch that shit. It was like a BBC miniseries. It was done like it was made like 15 or 20 years ago. Mwah. Brilliant. If you want an inside look into Saddam Hussein and his family and stuff, very, very well acted. Great fucking drama.
9/11. I can understand.
The idea was, and some of it worked, some of it didn't, was that we wanted an Arab Israel. A lot of these, we don't need to relitigate it, but most of the Middle East either have sane people with a crazy leader or crazy people with a sane leader. What Iraq was actually pretty sane people.
Crazy people with a sane leader or a crazy leader with sane people? I mean, I guess maybe, but like this again, she's just so fucking racist, bro. I mean, it could be accurate from time to time, but like sometimes there's both sane people and leaders. It's hard to think of one right now, but...
A lot of these, we don't need to relitigate it, but most of the Middle East...
And also, it's your fault. Like, the fucking West supplants our fucking good leaders, bro. And you guys do whatever the fuck you want in this place, so, like...
have sane people with a crazy leader or crazy people with a sane leader. What Iraq was actually pretty sane people. We have a lot of Iraqis who have immigrated to America. They're not like, Afghans.
What?
They're not like Afghans. What? What the fuck is she saying? What's up with Afghans, bro?
Iraqis are good brown people, and Afghans are
Bad brown people.
People with a sane leader. What Iraq was actually pretty sane people. We have a lot of Iraqis who have immigrated to America. They're not like, Afghans. But if you got rid of their leader and,
Like, I mean, someone defend Afghans. Like, Anna be like, yo, what the fuck do you mean? What's wrong with Afghans? Like, don't just fucking let her say that unchallenged. Like, we know Lindy Lee's fucking is loving this shit. Mindy, what's her name? Mindy Lee?
Lindy Lee.
Lindy Lee's loving this. You know what I mean? Lee's like, oh, yeah, the great replacement theory. All these Afghans coming through the border. Like,
did wave their purple fingers. I do think Iraq is better. Was it worth the price we paid? I don't know. Maybe not. I wanted to smash someplace in the Middle East. Absolutely, Afghanistan. You were never going to nation build there. Just
What the hell is wrong with her?
Bro, I wanted to smash someplace in the Middle East. Like, what the fuck? She's psycho, bro.
She's psychotic.
the crap out of them and pull out.
Almado says, what the fuck? I'm Afghan. Yo, we got an Afghan in the house. Almado, apparently your people are fucked. Apparently, Iraqis are welcome in the States, but Afghans? No, sir. No, sir. You go back home. You stay in Afghanistan, boy. Ain't happening for you.
Taliban was supported by the United States government. I mean, we were funding them. We were giving them weapons to prevent communism from developing, right? A communist takeover from developing in Afghanistan. That came back to bite us in the ass. And
Trump was so right saying their nation building has created disasters.
Exactly.
It has never gone the way it was supposed to. Well, I'm particularly skeptical.
Nuxolto sends $2 and says, does she forget the U.S. attacked Iraq? Oh, no, she's relishing it. She's enjoying it. She's celebrating it.
About the Qatar piece. And then, of course, you've got the plane, which you guys wanted to talk about. So next up, let's take a look here at the plane situation.
Told that you wanted to address the gift that Qatar is giving to the U.S. government, to the Defense Department of this jet.
I see that this story is making a big story in the news. Look, we've been always there for the U.S. We've been a reliable ally for the U.S. and it's something between the Ministry of Defense in Qatar and the Department of Defense, and it's in the discussion between them and under legal review. Unfortunately, I see that this story is taking a different direction and is being more politicized while it's a normal government-to-government deal.
All right. So basically he's saying there's no there. But I read a
It's just a gift. We just gave him a jet. Don't you give your jets to people you love all the time? It's just a little gesture of love. I mean, a jet is a pretty big bribe.
a piece in the Free Press, Barry Weiss's Free Press. Okay, so
Cutter.
Listen to this. They pull back the curtain on how far Qatar has gone to entrench itself into American life. So over the past 2 decades, Qatar has spent...
You hungry? I might order some dinner.
No, I'm good, thanks.
You sure? I'm gonna get a roadster, just something simple.
I don't like eating in front of people.
Well, the camera can be small.
It's fine.
All right. My ass hungry. Sorry, guys. If you, I'm gonna avoid the ASMR
No,
thing.
Anthony Hayamin is gonna do a mukbang.
No, I'm gonna move the mic this time, not like
Nearly
yesterday.
$100 billion buying influence across our politics, universities, media, think tanks, and Fortune 500 boardrooms. And in 2017 alone, you'll get a kick out of this, they spent $225 million lobbying and on PR in the U.S. That's 3 times more than Israel and 2/3 more than China. So my question
Who,
is...
Qatar? You talking about Qatar?
I think
How
so.
deep is think tanks?
I don't doubt.
$1 billion buying into American life. So listen to this. They pull back the curtain on how far Qatar has gone to entrench itself
Qatar. They're
into
talking about
American
Qatar.
life. So over the past 2 decades, Qatar has spent nearly $100 billion buying influence across our politics, universities, media, think tanks, and Fortune 500 boardrooms. And in 2017 alone, you'll get a kick out of this, they spent $225 million lobbying and on PR in the U.S. That's 3 times more than Israel and 2/3 more than China. So
What's shocking is 3 times more than Israel. I thought Israel was the biggest fucking spender on propaganda, but I guess Qatar has them beat. Well, Qatar has more money than Israel, so they can outspend those motherfuckers.
Yeah, and Qatar has like 3 people in it, so they don't. They can afford to spend on propaganda.
But that is pretty crazy. But like, what are they doing with that propaganda? Like, does that plane count as part of the propaganda? Is that part of the propaganda budget? That airplane? Because I don't see much, like, I guess it's subtle. I don't know, but maybe it's like in news, they invest in like news channels. Like
Yeah, like
that.
Al Jazeera.
Al Jazeera.
Shit. But Al Jazeera isn't propaganda.
It's not propaganda, bro. It's fucking news.
I'm not,
CNN
saying
is
I'm not saying it's propaganda. I'm saying, you know, they might consider it
Yeah,
propaganda.
I think they would. It's like, you want to talk propaganda? Fucking Fox News and CNN, all that shit, bro.
Her take.
Question is like, how deep is this flowing, and when is American policy no longer made in America?
So deep, so deep. And you know what? They
So
are
deep.
buying our minds. They're buying the future of the American people, the future generation, because you know what? They're also buying the Ivy League. And I went to Princeton, and you could see that a lot that the influence of the Middle East was everywhere. They purchased happy hours for us, you know, social events. All of it was just bankrolled.
They took
I
us.
don't get it.
They took us to happy hour. Yeah, sorry. What's up?
Like, we're not allowed to be poor and we're not allowed to be rich, like as the Middle East, quote unquote.
If you're too poor, you're a terrorist. If you're too rich, can't trust them.
Yeah.
You can't trust them. Go,
In
Wendy.
the Middle East.
Sorry, did you want to finish your point? Sorry.
Not only that, this is like, I want to be intellectually honest here. I am a conservative now. But this is not a
Now,
I'm a
just
conservative now.
I'm a conservative now. I've changed all of my values overnight. Everything I used to stand for 6 months ago, I now stand for the opposite because I am a legitimate, genuine conservative. This is not a grift. I am not doing this for the paycheck. I am now a conservative. Karine, I've decided I am now a conservative. Fuck woke culture. Fuck you wokes. If any
Fuck.
trans people are watching this show, you better tune out right now.
Clipped.
You better tune out right now. Okay, I am now a conservative. I am an authentic conservative. Okay, let's start farming conservative views, folks. Okay, there are only 2 genders. You hear me? 2 genders. 2, count them.
Blue and pink.
Blue and pink, okay? None of that green shit. I don't want no purple hairs in my chat. Okay, no septum piercings allowed here, folks.
No they thems.
No they thems. Only 2 pronouns are accepted here. He, fucking she. All right, now back to the show.
To allow Air Force One to be created by or to be gifted to us by another country. We would literally have to take the plane apart to ensure that there are no listening devices. They could be anywhere.
But they do plan on doing
Anywhere.
that. But do you feel as if that is an indictment?
Wendy, you are a listening device. You are a plant by some government.
On Trump, though, because to your point, he's there. He's going through all of these diplomatic talks across both sides of the aisle. We're recognizing this is a good thing. Would it really be a good standard for him to begin those talks by rejecting a massive gift from them? I mean, in any culture, it can be bad to reject gifts, but especially in those types of countries. My boss, he grew up in Dubai. He has explicitly said that would have been considered so rude if he had started off the diplomatic tour by rejecting blatantly.
It would have been insulting. And then you don't know what these Arabs will do if you reject a gift. They'll kill you. You think that's a knife? Here's a knife. You get that reference? You get that reference? She's Australian, folks. But I mean, no, he could probably be like, listen, guys, thanks for the plane, but like, this is kind of a conflict of interest. If I roll back to DC with a fucking Qatari airplane, people might think it's a little sketchy. Do you guys have something a little bit more subtle? Do you got one of those? Do you have a little model airplane that I could take with me as a souvenir? Like, you know what I mean? Just give me cash. Just give me money in a briefcase that I can bring in with me more subtly.
Gifted that. Well, that could have been
He could have just simply said, like, this is going to give the appearance of corruption, and I don't want, the American people to think that you're buying me off. He could have rejected it in a polite way, but this is actually not just about Qatar. Okay, this is a broader issue of foreign influence.
Cutter.
Either call it Cutter or don't talk about it at all. God damn it, it's Cutter.
Of our government, and I call into question, the idea that Qatar is like the top issue here. Qatar's a problem, but Qatar's one of the countries in a whole litany of countries that have been, corrupting our politicians. I mean, just in the last election cycle, the Israel lobby spent $127 million buying our politicians.
Yep.
So, I mean, do you think we're saying
ideology?
Oh yeah, well, based.
Like instead of talking about
Based,
the Qatari money, talk about Israeli money, which is actually having a fucking impact on every single election. You know what I mean? That like half the U.S. politicians are bought by AIPAC. So yeah, stop being racist and talking about Qatari money. Start talking about Israeli money. Thank you, Anna, for bringing it back to what it actually matters. Anna, she's okay. I haven't seen a lot of her agreeing with Ann Coulter, the 75% and stuff, but like Anna, thank you for being there, I guess.
Close ties.
No.
To Anna.
we got to get the corruption out. You think all the foreign leaders?
Hamas, bro. Jillian Michaels fucking wants to murder some fucking Arabs, bro. Iranians, Arabs, brown people.
Politicians. So, I mean, do you think we're
It's
sending?
the ideology.
Do you think we're
It's
sending?
the ideology, Anna, so that they have close ties.
No.
To Anna.
It's we got to get the
Taliban,
corruption out. You
Hamas.
think all the foreign leaders spending $200,000 on Mar-a-Lago
Anna.
membership?
Taliban, Hamas, ISIS. You know what I mean? Gotta kill them.
I think it's all wrong.
Yeah.
The only reason this
they want
concerns
to
me-
have access and
Okay, go. I can
influence
see it.
the
Go.
president.
Go ahead. Go.
It's simple.
Well, I'll let you have Mar-a-Lago. I don't really see Qatar. Where is the
Qatar!
You have a quid pro quo. What are we getting? Are they
Well, I can
influencing
give you a very
politics?
specific example.
They are. Okay,
Still talking.
keep going. I don't see enormous
Oh, she
influence. You have them.
She shut Jillian Michaels up. She's like, still talking.
I can give you a very specific example.
They are.
Still
Okay,
talking.
keep going. I don't see enormous influence. You have them. Certainly, Israel has its own influence. I don't think we care about this area of the world. I think this is part of Trump saying we're going to do business with you. We wish you well.
Yes.
We are not going to go in, invade, try to change cultures. We don't understand.
The mics are back. The audio's still here. Okay, let me turn on my. Every time I turn on my flashlight, I forget to turn it off. Ah, there we go. I'm gonna turn it off. There you go. Flashlight is off, folks. Flashlight is off. You guys get the authentic experience. As long as nothing happens to the fucking stream again.
Hello. The stream's still up.
It's just our cameras disappeared for a little while. Okay. We're back. All right.
And as for the listening devices, it does not matter. Trump is going to call up Maggie Haberman and tell her everything anyway. So it doesn't matter with Trump.
So I just want to say that in terms of the specific instance of influence, Qatar is the same country that Jared Kushner threatened to blockade in return for $1.5 billion of help for 666 Fifth Avenue. This is the same country.
That isn't corrupting our politics. That is corrupting Jared Kushner. And where is the prosecution? I agree with you. Where are the Democrats? You actually have something that is disgusting corruption in the Trump family. And they're just walking around.
Sorry, I don't know what.
No, let's.
Sorry, folks. This
Where
is. I
is the
don't know. I
prosecution?
don't know why I'm focusing on this right now, but you guys are gonna go on this trip with me.
That isn't corrupting our politics. That is corrupting Jared Kushner. And where is the
And
prosecution?
Coulter's
I agree with you.
pit.
Where are the Democrats? You actually have something that is disgusting corruption in the Trump family. And they're just walking around. No, let's say Trump is a Russian agent. Oh, that's way better. No, you have real corruption here. Where are the Democrats on this? Where are the prosecutors on
And you
this?
have a really good point there also. Stop. You talked about
Sorry,
diversity, right? Democrats,
I
well,
couldn't
you said, like,
unsee it. I was just looking at the pit. What did she say? I wasn't listening.
And they're just walking around. No, let's say Trump is a Russian agent. Whoa, that's way better. No, you have real corruption here. Where are the Democrats on this? Where are the prosecutors on
And
this?
you brought up a really good point that I also want to address. You talked about diversity of government, right?
It looked like chicken neck, guys. Everyone's saying why. It looked like goopy chicken stuff. I don't know. Let's just go back to this.
Democrats, you said like we're not going to go. No, you said
diversity
what
of
you
government.
meant was like they're not going to go in. America's not going to go in and monitor human rights. You alluded to that, did you not, or did I?
I didn't say anything about diversity.
Okay, well, this is what I mean. Trump is actually focused on real diversity, allowing different sorts of governments to thrive in their.
Harry Beanbag said roast beef pit.
This is fucked up.
Sorry, like it's just sorry guys. It's kind of gross, but like it was just right there. It's distracting. It if we're gonna talk about Ethan Klein's chicken arms, we can talk about Ann Coulter's roast beef pits. Okay.
Particular milieu, like in the Middle East governments are not going to thrive in the United. Do you understand? Like he's not going to dwell on Jamal Khashoggi anymore. The Biden regime did.
I don't think he ever dwelled on Jamal Khashoggi.
And for anybody who doesn't know who that is, that's the American journalist that was
Can I please finish?
arguably
never
killed
did you say
Khashoggi?
in Saudi Arabia.
Khashoggi. Yeah, Khashoggi.
Khashoggi.
Khashoggi. Yeah, الخشقجي. يا معلم يا خواجة.
Saying is Trump's speech was extremely significant because it signaled a new direction in American foreign policy. We are not going to police the internal affairs of different governments. That's what I mean by diversity of governments. Under democratic regimes, we are so obsessed. They are so obsessed with policing human rights violations, of saying this is wrong, this is right. You got to do things our American way. But Trump is saying it's almost like benign neglect. If you can do business with us, if you can engage in these transactions, that's great. Let's all become wealthier. Let's all strengthen our economy.
Hold on. Are we okay? Listen. If we're
So Wendy Lee is saying we can ignore countries that like have human rights violations and work with them. The thing, the fallacy, the problem with that is that America is the greatest violator of human rights. So like America shouldn't be sitting there be like, I don't want to work with Saudi because they violate human rights and I don't want to work with these people. It's like, what about you motherfuckers, bro? Like again, the whole the whole Gaza genocide has exposed the human rights lie of the West. You know what I mean? Oh, they stand for human rights, and we stand for all of these sorts of things. And like, it's like, bro, people are getting genocided, and you're not doing fucking shit to uphold fucking international law. No one gives a shit about what you think about human rights anymore. They shouldn't do the World Cup in Qatar. You know what happens in Qatar? You know what happens in America? You know what Americans do to the rest of the world? You know how many people America killed? Stop talking about other countries as if you're any fucking better. Every country's fucked up. Every country does fucked up shit. You know what I mean? Stop trying to pretend like you're above everyone else and you're the world fucking police. No one cares about Europe anymore. No one cares about America. No one cares about like what you say, what your politicians say, what your leaders say. You've let a genocide happen for the past 2 fucking years. Who gives a shit about what white people say about human rights? Shut up, Wendy. Mindy or Lindy? Lindy. Shut up, Lindy.
It doesn't matter that these atrocities are occurring around
Trump doesn't give a shit.
But are we saying
Americans don't? How about Rwanda? How about Saudi Arabia? How about North Korea? We aren't the world's policemen. And
I
by
agree
the way,
with that.
This is not.
I agree with her.
we also put sanctions?
And Coulter's kind of based, I guess. She goes from racist to based in a split second.
Korea. We aren't the world's policemen. And
I
by
agree
the way,
with that.
This is not.
We also put sanctions on that behavior.
Well, they shouldn't have. Really? Just leave them alone.
I
They shouldn't
agree
be
with
going
that.
around
She
playing
ate.
chess with the universe. It never works. And Trump ran on this. I don't know if you.
Victory for
South
roast
Carolina,
beef
military
pits.
state, military state. Before the South Carolina Republican primary in 2016, that's when Trump told Jeb that his brother lied us into war. It was a huge mistake.
Nope.
And all of it. This is one of the many times Trump was supposed to. Oh, he's done. He's finished. He's done. And then he won the South Carolina primary. People are sick of war and not producing the beautiful results. I still think the first part of Iraq and Afghanistan were good.
None of that one tight.
Yet and still, it was
I enjoyed watching those bombs get dropped on those people. Those first halves of the war were great. The first 10 years were amazing. We just overstayed our welcome. You know what I mean? It was too long. You know what I mean? It's like saying, Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. They should have shaved off the last 15, 20 minutes. Maybe a tad over long for my taste. The Iraq War, shave off a few years. But the rest was great. It was fine. Makes no sense, lady.
9/11. We haven't had another 9/11. Let the rest of the world be. We have enough problems in our country. How about guarding our border?
I'm not asking to go in militaristically, but
That's where it always leads.
Lindy, she talked about the border. Lindy should get excited about this.
Yep. But okay, we haven't gone in militaristically, but we had sanctions on Syria, which we agreed we would touch upon. Okay, no, this guy, the interim president, is that what we're referring to him as?
Al-Jolani?
Yeah, that was a great idea, by the way. Yeah, he's so much better than Assad.
Can we
Brad, remove
the
the
Tulsi Gabbard clip? Okay, so
They like Jolani?
okay, more to my
job.
point.
I mean, look, Assad was horrible. What Assad did to his people was horrible. I don't know if the current situation in Syria is any better, to be honest with you, than when Assad, when they removed Assad. Like, I think it was a case of the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. I don't know, bro, but like, it was heartening to see all the footage of Syrian prisoners that were in prison for fucking decades getting out of these fucking horrible conditions, seeing the joy in Syrians' faces when they thought that like there was a revolution. But like, I think the country's kind of gone to shit since then. You know what I mean? And like the Druze community is getting fucking like butchered, and like, I don't know what's going on, bro, in Syria. It's a whole fucking quagmire. But Israel has come in, has taken a whole bunch of land. Al-Jolani's letting them do that. He used to be like Al-Qaeda, you know what I mean? So, I'm not sure I love the situation in Syria.
You've got Trump saying this guy is good-looking, strong leader, whereas Tulsi Gabbard just a few months ago in her Senate confirmation hearings was
Did you
like,
call
this
him
guy's arguably worse than Assad. Are you?
Did you call him good looking?
Trump saying this guy is good-looking,
Oh, Trump.
strong leader, whereas Tulsi Gabbard just a few months ago in her Senate confirmation hearings was like, this guy's arguably worse than Assad. Are you happy now? Can we see that clip, Nat?
To train who they called moderate rebels, but were actually fighters working with and aligned with Al-Qaeda's affiliate on the ground in Syria, all to move forward with their regime change and not acknowledging what was obvious at the time and what has unfortunately borne true, which was that a regime change war in Syria, much like the regime change wars in Iraq, the toppling of Gaddafi and Mubarak, while these are all dictators, would likely result in the rise of Islamist extremists like Al-Qaeda taking power. I shed no tears for the fall of the Assad regime, But today we have an Islamist extremist who is now in charge of Syria,
Islamist?
as I said, who danced on the streets to celebrate the 9/11 attack, who ruled over Idlib with an Islamist extremist governance,
Islamist?
and who has already
Yeah.
Oh.
Islamist.
Islamist. Okay.
begun to persecute and kill and arrest religious minorities like Christians in Syria.
I understand.
Why that should be acceptable to anyone is beyond me.
It shouldn't
is
be.
certainly
And I-
not.
Yeah, like that's the scary part. Like minorities in Syria were terrified when this all happened. Not again, like the whole. It's not like I'm a fucking geopolitical expert to talk about Syria right now. It's literally the most complicated shit ever. But like,
And I appreciate your answer and thank
All right,
you.
so long story short, Tulsi basically says exactly what you just said. And my question is simply, okay, you don't want to go in militaristically, I agree. I don't think that condoning it or lifting sanctions, I don't understand why we would do that. It's because we want their oil. Why are we doing this?
It's not because it has no effect on any American's life. Who cares who the leader of Syria is? Who's the leader?
naked and shot
Okay,
in the
Julianne,
head.
who's the
Why is
leader
it our
of
responsibility?
Burkina Faso? Who's the leader of the Maldives? Why do we have to pick one enemy in the universe and convince Americans he's like Hitler, he's like Hitler? Whether it's Putin or this new leader.
Why am I on her side?
We keep playing chess with the universe.
we're conservatives now. Didn't I tell you, Kenny? This is now. I'm a conservative.
It's a conservative
This
show.
is a conservative channel, folks. This is, you know what I mean?
It doesn't affect any American's
Actually,
life.
I agree
We
with
don't
Ann. I agree
care.
with Ann, and I-
Human here, guys.
But why is that our responsibility? Why do we need to be the sheriff of the entire world? I actually agree with JD Vance. The standard we should set is if Americans can't locate it on a map, we don't care. We just step away and figure out
Yeah.
our
Well,
own
Americans can't locate shit on a map though, so like they're not going to care about any country. They can locate Mexico, I think. That's it. Well, I know
Yeah,
Mexico's
hardly.
down there. Tijuana. But like, what else do they know?
And no fair
Frankly-
going to Wikipedia.
And I think, I think the point that Anne's getting at, and I agree with this entirely, is every time the U.S. meddles in a foreign country's business, it backfires. So, for instance, the Grand Ayatollah and the supreme leader in Iran,
The regime change.
Ayatollah.
it wasn't just regime change. Our CIA
What's up?
orchestrated a coup
La, I'm just making fun of her accent.
Oh.
Ayatollah.
Ayatollah.
to dispense of a democratically elected leader and essentially install a puppet government that ended up
I disagree
backfiring.
with you there. That worked beautifully until Carter abandoned him. That's what killed Iran. I mean, he was a nut. The one that the CIA deposed was a nut, and we had the Shah, and he was great. And it was, this uprising that the Princeton professor said it's going to be great, and then we have our hostages taken. No, that was entirely Carter's fault.
Well, this leads to the question of Ukraine. Like, should we
Same
be spending
game.
billions of dollars
No.
on a country? Like, I actually agree with that. We need a measure of accountability, and I have very little faith in this Zelensky dude.
This Zelensky dude.
Who cares? Well, here's who cares. Here's who cares.
Well,
Again,
actually, and I think I'm just arguing for the other side.
I mean, look, honestly, I also think that the Ukraine thing is like, I mean, it's hard for us to kind of care here. I know what I mean. And-
We shouldn't talk about Ukraine.
oh, did we talk about it once? And we got yelled at?
Yeah, and we got yelled at. We're not talking about Ukraine.
We're not talking. We love Ukraine. Love for all the Ukrainians. I know we know you're suffering.
It's not Hitler.
Wait, I'm not saying I agree with it. Some people are saying we ought to care because China's watching closely. And
Who
they're gonna
cares about China? That's our next enemy.
I love
Oh my
China.
gosh, these
Yeah,
China
China's the
corrupted
best,
ones
bro. You
are-
guys
love
should
you.
you guys should be terrified about China because China's eating your cake. China's coming for that throne, yo. Forget about America being number one. China.
Me crazy. Let Japan deal with it.
well, okay.
Closer to them.
Here's why I wonder about Ukraine and the regime change. Simply because, again, if I was to wrap myself in tinfoil, I don't know if any of you guys have ever read Confessions of an Economic Hitman. This book is crazy.
By whom?
Gosh, I can't remember his name. Will you pull it up?
Big Ola Mayo, welcome to the Do Not Warriors, a brand new member. Welcome, Big Ola Mayo. Love to have you here. Remember, folks, there's going to be an exclusive member and Patreon. The mics are back. Mics are back, folks. You can hear us. And you can see my... Again. When the mics come back, that's when you guys are getting the thing again. Let me turn off the flashlight, because I always forget. Let's play this again.
I mean, not, but it's a biography. So this guy essentially worked for these global countries, and he would go into parts of the developed world, and he would sell them on how we were gonna
Developed
help
world.
them develop their infrastructure to access their raw materials, energy, minerals, so on and so forth. And then this small country would default on the loan, and the World Bank goes in, and they're like, uh-oh, I guess you're in debt, and we're gonna need to take everything. Now, this looks strangely familiar to the fact that all of our tax dollars paid for all these bombs to the military-industrial complex. Then the World Bank says to Ukraine, hey, you took all this money, I guess you're gonna have to put that farmland up for lease. Enter Monsanto, Cargill, ConAgra. What's the third resource that they have? Well, if you don't call, us making, or our global countries making money off the weapons, then our farming, big ag, takes advantage of the farmland, the minerals. And now we've struck a deal for that too. Like, again, I get that it's conspiratorial, but damn it if it didn't play out just exactly as it always does. And we were engaged.
I think we paid for those minerals.
Dude, I zoned the fuck out. Mr. Krabs sends $2 and says, "This is my weekly shout out to you guys. Keep it up." Well, thank you, Mr. Krabs. We love you. Keep coming back we need you here every week. All you guys. Don't be leaving us. What were they talking about? I kind of zoned the fuck out.
Me too. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Billions of dollars.
Anytime Jillian Michaels talks, she blabbers on. All these women can't stop blabbering. Am I right? Women yapping all the time. I'm kidding.
Women be blabbering.
Women be yapping. I'm kidding, folks. I love these. I'm the one who's insisting on watching the show. No one wants to watch this. I'm the only one.
No one wants to watch it except Anthony.
No one wants to watch this except me.
We've given them against I guess,
But
Anna
we
and
gave
my
it to them
vote.
in the form of weapons. Zelensky said that to Lex Fridman on his show, and he's like, "You guys didn't give me money."
Yeah, but okay, but taxpayers paid for
Exactly.
But we paid for it. But we aren't going to benefit off those minerals. It's going to be corporations like BlackRock.
Wait, someone saying she was right, though.
Whoa,
Someone-
yeah, she is. She is right.
Who, Jillian?
Yeah.
So what did she say? Let's listen. We're going to go back, folks. We're going to be responsible, and we're going to hear what Jillian said again. Oh, damn, she talked a lot. God damn, yapping woman.
Here's why.
I'm kidding.
Here's why I wonder about Ukraine and the regime change. Simply because, again, if I was to wrap myself in tinfoil, I don't know if any of you guys have ever read Confessions of an Economic Hitman. This book is crazy.
By whom?
Gosh, I can't remember his name. Will you pull it up for me, Nat? But it's a biography. So this guy essentially worked for these global countries and
I'm gonna
he would
pay
go into
attention.
parts of the developed world and he would sell them on how we were going to help them develop their infrastructure to access their raw materials, energy, minerals, so on and so forth. And then this small country would default on the loan, and the World Bank goes in, and they're like, "Uh-oh, I guess you're in debt, and we're going to need to take everything." Now, this looks
This is
strangely
logic.
familiar to the fact that all of our tax dollars paid for all these bombs to the military-industrial complex. Then the World Bank says to Ukraine, "Hey, you took all this money. I guess you're going to have to put that farmland up for lease." Enter Monsanto, Cargill, ConAgra. What's the third resource that they have? Well, if you don't call, us making, or our global countries making money off the weapons, then our farming, big ag, takes advantage of the farmland, the minerals. And now we've struck a deal for that too. Like, again, I get that it's...
So we're selling the Ukrainians weapons, so we're getting money from manufacturing the weapons. We're taking their farmland, apparently, and now we're taking their minerals. Okay, I do remember reading something about the minerals.
But damn it if it didn't play out just exactly as it always does. And we were engaged.
I think we paid for those minerals with
Yeah.
the billions of dollars we've given them against
Maybe
I
you
guess,
did.
Anna and
We gave
my
it to them
vote.
in the form of weapons. Zelensky said that to Lex Fridman on his show, and he's like, "You guys didn't give me money."
Yeah, but okay, but taxpayers paid for
Exactly.
But we paid for it. But we aren't going to benefit off those minerals. It's going to be corporations like BlackRock.
Yep, Americans, you pay for Israelis' war. You're paying for the genocide in Gaza. You're paying for the war in Ukraine, and you don't get health care. You don't got no health care. You got to get a job to get health care. And if you lose your job, you lose your health care. Isn't that fucked up? Should there be universal health care in America? No, because you can't afford it because they keep sending all your money, all your tax dollars to Ukraine. They can afford it. I'm kidding. They can still afford it. They just choose not to, obviously. But yeah, fun times. Israelis have universal health care. Isn't that cool? Fuck.
State Street.
Capitalism, baby.
American
American-based companies
But
want
that
access
doesn't
to natural
benefit us.
resources all
It's
across the
money
globe.
laundering.
And in the past, we have pursued those natural resources through war. I think it's better to pursue them through diplomatic means.
I don't disagree with you there.
Yeah.
I'm simply talking about the fact that when we look the other way as atrocities occur, when do you get into a World War II situation where you've exterminated 6 million Jews? Like, where is the line? If we condone it,
It's got to be a lot closer to exterminating Jews than, and I'm sick of every world leader being told this one's Hitler, that one's Hitler. It's very rare that a Hitler is going to arise. We'll deal with it when it happens, but oh my gosh, it is not Rwanda.
There are like
It
at
is
least
not
3 Hitlers
Ukraine.
right now.
It's certainly not.
And do we want these
Iran.
countries
Oh,
as
yeah.
enemies, right? Like, wouldn't it be better to have...
Why do they bring? I mean, there's Netanyahu.
They jumped from one topic to another very suddenly.
The Israeli government is full of Hitlers. If you ask me, yeah, how do they get to
They were talking about the minerals, and then Anna jumped to saying that instead of stealing their minerals and getting it through war, we should do it through diplomatic relations. But that doesn't negate the fact that Jillian was saying that you're not seeing a cent of it and it's all going to corporations. And they just jumped over the corporation bit. Like, you were so
Israel.
close to making a fucking thought, and then they just jumped to Hitler. I don't know, very all over the place.
Situation when you've exterminated 6 million Jews. Like,
Diplomatic means.
I don't disagree with you there.
Yeah.
I'm simply talking about the fact that when we look the other way as atrocities occur, when do you get into a World War II situation when you've exterminated 6 million Jews? Like, where is the line? If we condone
It's got to be a lot closer to exterminating Jews than, and I'm sick of every world leader.
Gaza? No, you guys don't want to step into Gaza? You know what I mean? 200,000 Palestinians. That doesn't sound like you need to interfere? Oh, no. What the fuck?
Being told this one's Hitler, that one's Hitler. It's very rare that a Hitler is going to arise. We'll deal with it when it happens, but oh my gosh, it is not Rwanda. It is not Ukraine. It is certainly not
And do we want these
Iran.
countries as enemies, right?
It's Palestine. That's where there's a Holocaust happening in Palestine right now. You guys want to do something about it?
Like, wouldn't it be better to have that level of diplomacy, to have them as an
Diplomacy.
ally versus having them against us? I mean, if there was some type of conflict to erupt, where all of a sudden there was a proxy war that we needed to get involved with, don't we want to maintain diplomacy with some of these countries? Isn't that
Diplomacy?
important?
I would
Love
take
that.
two enemies, but I would definitely define them as enemies, and I would put sanctions on them.
And Jillian, you know,
these are atrocities that I simply can't be like. And not
This
only
is why
that,
so many people around the world, I hate to say it, but hate America. We're meddling in all these countries.
We do
Let
hate
them
you.
run- I loved Trump's speech. Let them run their countries the way their culture dictates. It doesn't make any difference to us. I don't even want to trade with them, to be honest. I want to make our own stuff here. I want to block immigration. I want to be America alone. We don't. Why does it matter to us to fiddle around with other
agree
countries?
with that. I live
Blocking immigration is insane. Of course, Lindy agrees with that. But like, not meddling. Of course, the rest of the world hates America because they keep fucking meddling. Of course. Why wouldn't they? When you keep sending your militaries to countries where they don't belong, you fucking kill the locals, you kill people, you take land, you build giant embassies. Like, bro, get the fuck out. But let's hear Lindy get excited about blocking immigration.
America alone. We don't. Why does it matter to us to fiddle around with
I
other
agree
countries?
with that. I live in a city of Philadelphia. Luckily, I'm in a part that's safe. But if you just drive a few miles out, maybe 2 miles out, it's literally a war zone. Like Kensington,
Can we fix
people
that?
are
Philadelphia is
people are
literally a war
demonstrating on
zone?
the street.
Yes.
They're getting high, literally on the sidewalk.
does that
We
have to
don't
do with
have
her
the
There's just a lot of suffering in
It's
America.
the brown people, the immigrants are getting high, Jillian. That's what's happening. Lindy, just need to remind you, you're Chinese. You're not white. Your family are immigrants as well.
She doesn't want to hear it.
Okay, yeah, but we came here legally. Shut up.
And our tax dollars, I'm sick of seeing my tax dollars go toward bullshits.
I
Okay,
get
in
it,
foreign
Anna,
countries.
but-
I don't want my money going toward bombs. I don't want my money going toward bombing people, killing people. I want my money to make the lives of the American people better.
All right, I'm going
That's
to put
where
a
I'm
button
at.
on this in 2 seconds. My simple question is, outside of war, which I am against and agree with you both on, and it goes nowhere good, and we've seen it over and over and over in the last 50 years. With that said, could you not dangle the carrot of business with America? Stop killing women who take off their hijab. For God's sake, don't march.
Why do we need to be the DEI police?
Can you pause? Yeah.
Back to the white Western women defending the rights of Muslim women in the Middle East. Now I understand that my commentary, like when the woman like took her clothes off a few months ago in Iran, and then the whole West was like glorifying that moment and romanticizing and like, look at liberation and look at female liberation and stuff. I got a lot of people, Iranian viewers, being like, hey, the way you talked about that situation is unfair. Like, we are oppressed. A lot of us are oppressed in Iran. So I don't want to comment on that. I don't want to take away from anyone's if they feel oppressed or what's happening. You know what I mean? But I do hate it when white Western women decide to speak on behalf of Muslim. Sorry, the delivery guy called me. They don't ring the doorbell here in Lebanon. They fucking call you to tell you that the food is here.
Well, yeah.
Here. Be right back, folks.
What Jillian Michaels is doing is textbook homo-nationalism. It's showing a foreign country that is, quote unquote, undiplomatic or whose people need savings because they don't adhere to the human rights standard that you, the great and powerful and advanced country of the United States of America, are. So you go to these countries and you try to save their people, but who are you to save the people? It's not up to you, Jillian Michaels. You don't get to decide if a country needs saving. And that's why this intervention in this conversation is dangerous. It's just, you cannot rely on the American military to do that because it's untrustworthy and it's just going to start fucking bombing villages for no reason. It's like, oh, we're carrying democracy. We're giving you democracy. We just killed 6 million of you. It just doesn't make sense. And this is why I fear I have to agree with the conservative women who are anti-war in a weird conservative way, which I don't really understand. But I mean, I'm with it. They're right. Stop spending their tax dollar money on bombs.
We back, folks.
We've been trying that for 20 years, and guess what they're still doing? Whipping women who take off their
We
clothes.
can't even maintain our American identity and culture here. How are we going to go and control and insert our identity and culture into other places? We're so overrun here in America due to the illegal immigration. How are we meant to go and police that in other
There's
places?
something else.
By incentivizing them with these business deals.
One final point, though, that we haven't yet mentioned. This also opened us to charges of hypocrisy. For example, when we talk about Tiananmen men and the Uyghurs in China, you know what they're saying about us? They're saying you're the ones who are discriminating against Native Americans and black people. That's what the Chinese are now saying about us.
Right.
20 years in Afghanistan.
And they're right. America's full of fucking discrimination, bro. Are you kidding me? Like, look, every country's fucking racist, bro. Lebanon, we've talked about this. Lebanon is racist as fuck, bro. We're racist towards other Arabs, like Syrians and Egyptians. We think we're the best. We're racist towards people from the Philippines, Indians, people from Sri Lanka. Like, every country's fucked, okay? Marmar sends £2, says, put the bombs, but the bombs want to roam free. Free the bombs. Free the bombs, folks. I'm gonna go get a...
They're asking Shutalabat, what'd you order?
I just got a cheeseburger, fries, and a Diet Pepsi, folks. Okay.
American meal for the Americans.
An American meal for my American audience, folks. We're going American tonight.
Years putting Afghan women into the police force and painting their George Floyd mural. 20 years, and at the end of it, Pew takes a survey. 99% of Afghans want to live under Sharia law. It doesn't work.
Like Sharia law.
Let them live
Sharia.
where they want to live. It's not our culture.
Sharia.
And thank God for that.
And that, my friends, is exactly what I meant about real diversity. That is a diversity we should seek. Let people be. Let these cultures be. Not this DEI woke bullshit that we have going on in this country.
DEI woke
real
bullshit.
diversity we want is benign neglect to our enemies.
Wait. What did you say
allies
about
alike.
DEI? I gotta see the DEI woke stuff.
To live under Sharia law. It doesn't work.
Like they want
Stop
that.
it. Let them live the way they want to live. It's not our culture. And thank God for that.
And that, my friends, is exactly what I meant about real diversity. That is a diversity we should seek. Let people be. Let these cultures be. Not this DEI woke bullshit that we have going on in this country. The real diversity we want is benign neglect to our enemies and allies alike, and just let them thrive under their own government.
But they keep talking about Sharia law like every Middle Eastern country has Sharia law. Like
It's just Saudi. It's just Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia has Sharia law. That's it, folks. That's it. We chilling here. Ain't no Sharia law in Lebanon. Most Middle Eastern countries, bro. Like, you guys can fucking relax a little bit about that.
Okay, moving on. Moving on. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act. From one monster topic to another here. All right, so this features an extension of Trump's 2017 tax cuts. No taxes on tips, which was hugely popular. No taxes on overtime pay. Mandating 80 hours per month of work, volunteering, or education for Medicaid eligibility. An increased tax deduction for seniors, beefed up border security, bolstered energy supplies, among other things. But it did not pass. So on May 16th, 2025, the bill was blocked in the House Budget Committee, so 4 Republicans voted it down due to concerns of overspending. It didn't cut overspending enough. And a 5th one opposed it on procedural grounds. I have no idea what that means.
Hold on, can I jump in?
Yeah.
You know that it got approved in the committee just last night, right?
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. It just got approved in the House Budget Committee.
Jillian Michaels didn't ask Grok what's up. If only she had. That's what they do. They consult with Grok. Hey, Grok, we don't know
Grok.
that.
Is this true?
You should have asked Grok, Jillian.
Someone asked if
They advanced the
Afghans
bill.
are allowed in Lebanon, and yeah, they are. I don't know why they wouldn't be.
Yeah, why wouldn't they be, bro?
Yeah.
Really? Thanks. Yeah, okay. Okay, so fantastic. So where are we now then?
Not that fantastic.
Oh, you don't like it? Okay.
Well, I mean, we can still talk about the reasons why it was opposed by so many people because I think there's some really good
No.
points
They
in
haven't
there.
done a floor vote yet.
Okay.
So there's still.
But can we presume, though, that the fact that they brought on these 5 Republicans who said no, that it's likely going to pass?
Well, there's going to be opposition in the Senate because people like Josh Hawley Josh Hawley said not only is it politically stupid to cut Medicaid and Medicare benefits, it would be politically suicidal. It's like morally wrong. So
Here's my understanding.
Look, don't go for people's health care. Don't go for people's social security. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, that is true. You can't fuck with that shit.
Of this. And for me, I really am not a big fan of these big omnibus bills in general because oftentimes it's a way to take public sentiment, something people want, and then they sneak in nefarious things in the back end, hoping people either won't notice or their desire for the front-loaded thing supersedes the thing that they don't want, right? We saw this when the Democrats were trying to pass their border bill and they put a huge indictment on Republicans. Oh, they don't want us to pass this. No, we don't want money for Ukraine. There's a very big difference. The thing that Republicans seem to not like about this bill in particular is that a lot of the tax cuts are actually backloaded, and then it's going to increase.
Can I say something?
Beth is saying, bro, that bill is going to ruin my life. I won't be able to afford any bills, and my granny is going to die. What bill are they talking about? The one that's going to cut Social Security?
I guess. Sorry, I was just Googling what countries have Sharia law. And countries where Sharia law is the supreme law: Saudi Arabia, Iran, Sudan, and Afghanistan, and during the Taliban regime. So they're fact-checking our statement.
And that's good. Boy, what are they talking about?
To pass.
Well, there's going to be opposition in the Senate because people like Josh Hawley are Josh Hawley said not only is it politically stupid to cut Medicaid and Medicare benefits, it would be politically suicidal. It's like morally wrong. So
Here's my understanding of this. And for me, I really am not a big fan of these big omnibus bills in general, because oftentimes it's a way to take public sentiment, something people want, and then they sneak in nefarious things in the back end, hoping people either won't notice or their desire for the front-loaded thing supersedes the thing that they don't want, right? We saw this when the Democrats were trying to pass their border bill and they put a huge indictment on Republicans. Oh, they don't want us to pass this. No, we don't want money for Ukraine. There's a very big difference. The thing that Republicans seem to not like about this bill in particular is that a lot of the tax cuts are actually backloaded, and then it's going to increase the deficit much, much faster. So, for example, a lot of the benefits that people are hoping for won't even take effect until after Trump leaves office. For example, some of the rules and regulations that they want to put against Medicaid, for example, to require able-bodied people without children to be able to work. Sounds great to me. Let's assign the funds
I
to
want
people.
to litigate that because it sounds great to me too. I don't get it. What's the pushback?
Well, this is good on the surface.
This is where people, it seems that people are more so upset about its implementation because he is not requiring this to take effect until 2029. He's already out of office by then.
That might be on purpose because this has been tried before in the past, right? So, look, I don't have a problem with having work requirements for able-bodied people who receive Medicaid. The problem is about 64% of Medicaid recipients, and remember, Medicaid's different from Medicare. Medicaid is run by states. 64% of them are either working full-time or part-time. The rest of them are not able-bodied, or they are taking care of family members who are ill, either elderly family members, or they're going to school. And the way that the bill is written right now, I think it was like, oh, well, to qualify for Medicaid, you have to work for at least, what was it?
80 hours in a
a
month.
whole month,
Yes.
right? Which isn't that much, but most of the people who can work are actually working right now. The other thing that I'll just note, and this is important because they have tried this before, and it ended up costing more money because you have to set up the bureaucracy to process people's applications and ensure that they're actually working to receive.
But that's
Medicaid
a one-time
benefits.
cost, right?
No, you have to. So in Georgia, they had implemented it in Georgia. It cost $26 million to initially implement it, and then another $40 million to continue the program. And the government accountability.
You see all the hoops that Americans have to jump through to get fucking healthcare? If you don't get healthcare from your fucking employer, you have to like meet all these requirements to get like a fraction of your medical bills covered. And only when you're like 65, I think, do you get like access to like Medicare. You have to be like a senior citizen to get government provided healthcare. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Office put out a report about it that you could read, and it's very detailed. So
eventually it would zero out, right? Presumably.
I mean, I think that there's this mistake in thinking most people who take food stamps or Medicaid are like, all of them are lazy bums and they just want to live off the government.
I would say a lot.
Based on what? What's your evidence of that?
There's so many instances of people, like in Philadelphia, for instance, there's so many. Even
I don't care about your anecdotal evidence. What's like the data? Do you have
People,
data?
yes, it's been studied. Every government program is 60.
So Lindy
What
Lee
are you
is
talking about?
Food stamps. Lindy Lee is saying that like food stamps is like discounts for food. It's like basically money for food that you can use for food. Basically, food stamps. If you're really poor, if you make under a certain amount of money, you get access to food stamps and you can use them to buy food. So Lindy is saying that like people who get food stamps are lazy. They just don't want to work. They're taking advantage of the system.
Yeah, of course.
There's always going to be people that take advantage of every system in every country that exists. But for the most part, people who get food stamps, they need the food stamps. Okay, you can work a 40-hour job in the States, do everything right. You can work full time. If you work at McDonald's right now full time, you don't make enough to live. You don't make enough. You don't make a living fucking wage working 40 hours a week in America. So yes, food stamps are a necessity. Do some people take advantage of everything in every single country in the world? Of course. You're going to have a small percentage that takes advantage and that maybe doesn't need the food stamps, but they get them anyways because they found some kind of a weird loophole. That's okay. Don't ruin it for the other 99% that actually need the stuff, you know?
Who cares if people are taking advantage of food stamps? There are people... You have bigger issues.
Lindy.
100% fraud. And the Social Security disability, it's actually led to some horrible things to get your kids. If you pay people not to work, they're not going to work.
Right.
The veterans benefits, the Social Security disability, and you have all these parents living off claiming their kids have, what is it, ADHD. But in order to collect all that money, you have to put your kids on psychotropic drugs. So they're drugging their kids.
God, that's
and there was a
terrible.
family up in Boston that were murdered their...
Wait. Parents that give their kids ADHD medication aren't like raking in cash.
I don't.
That's not how it fucking works. What the fuck is she talking about? Sorry, guys, I'm eating, so.
child with these drugs. They were living 100% on 4 kids whom they claimed disability. And, you know, you give them these horrible drugs.
Okay.
I mean, I think we should have charity hospitals and send it back to the states because every government program, you know, they got rid of welfare, sort of, work requirements back in '96.
I think they just hate disabled people.
It's like welfare goes down, Social Security disability goes up. If you're going to pay people not to work, it is always going to be scammed. Elon.
They hate anyone who they consider a burden on.
Yeah, I think they just want them to die.
They just want people to die. Brown
Yeah.
people, you're costing them you know, immigrants. You have to pay for their hotels apparently. You know, disabled people, you have to pay for their health care. Poor people, you have to pay for their food stamps.
Can't do enough cuts.
I couldn't agree more.
And you know what? I hate my party for not just putting the Doge cuts into this big beautiful.
Doge cuts?
I think it's a bad
Using Doge unironically.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
Just real quick, I have a question. I'm really curious what you all think. I mean, don't you think it's a bad look for Trump, who's really presented himself as like this right-wing populist, to give these massive corporate tax breaks, massive tax cuts, which benefit the working class a little bit, but disproportionately benefit the rich, and then at the same time try to do these cuts to food stamps and Medicaid?
Well, 2 points about that.
I do agree.
The 2 points about that. How do you give tax cuts to people who don't pay taxes? Because let's not forget.
Poor people don't pay
40% of
taxes,
Americans
Lindy
don't
Lee.
even pay
You mean the
taxes.
tax cut? It's another welfare payment. It's welfare.
And American. It's about that. How do you give tax cuts to people who don't pay taxes? Because let's not forget, 40% of American people don't even pay any.
Damn, 40% of Americans don't pay taxes, but like, you know who doesn't pay taxes? Corporations. Corporations don't pay fucking shit in taxes. They take money from fucking middle class people, bro.
The tax cut. It's another welfare payment. It's welfare.
Exactly. And I just want to say something. I feel deeply about this issue. I grew up so poor, like painfully poor. When I was a kid, I would count pennies on my bed. And I worked at Wawa for $9 an hour. My family did not take a single penny from anybody, private or public. We worked our asses
They
off.
should have. The state is supposed to help you, not make your life harder. What are you talking about?
I worked at GameStop for $7 an hour. What are you complaining about? $9 at Wawa sounds great. Which is she saying the government shouldn't have given money?
The government shouldn't help people. That's what she's saying.
So I have a very particular attitude towards poverty. $9, painfully poor. When I was a kid, I would count pennies on my bed. And I worked at Wawa for $9 an hour. My family did not.
Wawa.
I would count pennies on my bed. And I worked at Wawa for $9 an hour. My family did not take a single penny from anybody, private or public. We worked our asses off. So
I mean, if the government gave your family like a little grant or like a small check a week just to help cover like the basics, food, you know, make sure you're not starving, make sure you're not homeless. That's fine. The government is here to help the people. Why are governments supposed to be here? Just to like govern and make our lives shit? They're supposed to be here to help us, to serve the people. Build roads, build schools, build hospitals, fix roads, fix schools, fix hospitals. Make hospitals free, make schools free. Government should be here to make your life better and easier, okay? If that means giving you money, when COVID was happening and Trump sent everyone those $1,400 checks, people loved it. It was fucking great. We got fucking money from the government. We've been paying into our taxes for fucking years and years and years and years. And you pay into your fucking taxes, and millionaires and billionaires get fucking tax cuts and they get fucking bailed out. You got airline companies getting bailed out. Financial companies getting bailed out. Everybody's getting fucking bailed out except the American fucking people. So if you got a little bit of something back from the government for fucking working hard and doing everything right, but still not being able to afford a fucking life, you should be able to get all the help you can fucking get, dumbass fucking Lindy.
I have a very particular attitude towards poverty and
We can
individual
tell.
responsibility to extract yourself from that adversity.
Yeah, individual
can't do
responsibility.
that.
Pull yourself up from your bootstraps. You know what I mean? Don't ask for help. No.
You can't do that.
Some people are born in different fucking circumstances. Okay, you were born poor and you were able to work your way out of poverty.
Through grifting.
Not everybody can do that. Not everybody can do that. Some people are born in such horrid, shitty conditions that they need a little bit of help. Other people are born with a leg up. Some dude is born rich to a rich family. He can get any job he wants. He can get any opportunity that he wants. What about someone that's born to a fucking broke-ass family? They might not be able to get an opportunity. They might not be able to get into a private university or get the education that they need, etc. You got to help people. You got to help people to level the playing field. And you shouldn't be complaining about it. You should be happy. You should be asking for help if you need it.
Social Security are the only programs that aren't scammed because it's just a matter of your age.
Exactly, 100%. And the other thing there, the issue with the Medicaid, the other aspect was that they're saying that for blue states, they could actually introduce programs that would, you wouldn't have to go and work those 80 hours as long as you're fulfilling these specific programs. And states like California, New York, you know they're going to create the easiest program ever to satisfy. And then all of a sudden you're forgiven and you don't need to go through that. So to your point about the thing that I saw in the bill about the cuts affecting corporations versus individuals was with solar. Did you see that? So essentially the way that it works is the tax cuts that individuals get on their solar are wiped out, but corporations
on their
get
what? Solar?
Oh, wow. And so over time, it's not going to make fiscal sense for Americans to purchase solar panels, but rather
solar.
Solar. So that was one of the major things I saw in the bill that reminded me of what you just said.
I never thought I was going to say this in my career, but it's true. The fiscal hawks are correct in being worried about our debt and deficit. Okay, we spent $1 trillion servicing our debt last year. That's insane. That's insane.
And we just want to go back to pre-COVID spending, and they can't do that. Were we, all living in poverty, orphans on the street back in 2019?
Right, yeah. It looks good on a 10-year window, but then there's also the 4 years for lobbyists to come in and undo a lot of those back-end cuts as well. And so it's just they need to balance the budget.
Do you guys have solar at home?
Yeah, we do.
You do, yeah. A lot of people started getting solar power in Lebanon when because our electricity fucking sucks. So
and the fuel was expensive.
Fuel is expensive. Generator bills, yeah, general bills are expensive.
It's more expensive up front, but it saves you a lot of money in the long run.
Long run, yeah. Solar.
If they're going to introduce all of these cuts, they need to take down some spending. They need to consummate some of the Dodge things as well that they have not consummated yet, right? Like, why is that? Why can't they put that towards balancing the budget?
You bring up
overall?
a really good point. Elon caught so much flack for wielding a chainsaw on stage. I actually agree with that. I think we need that attitude towards the federal government.
Well, this is why we need Trump to do something. One of the things that made me the angriest about January 6th, besides looking like dorks, was that we suddenly realized how much power Trump had all along. If he had ever said, come to Washington, I'm giving a speech on the ellipse, and we're not shut down because of COVID. And then he tells them all, okay, you're going to march peacefully to Congress and talk to your senator and representative and ask for funding for the wall and ask for, you can do it right now, and ask for the Doge cuts. Trump has so much power with his voters. Use it for good. Not for a riot
I have
Congress.
questions, though, about this. This whole show is
You want to pay for the? He actually wants to pay for the wall. Like, you actually want to build a fucking wall. There's already a fucking wall. There's already a massive fucking wall, bro.
Yeah, I don't understand. Isn't there already a wall?
It's a fence. It's like there's a huge fence, basically. Yeah.
Okay. Why does it need to be a wall? I never understood this logic.
Because you can't. I guess you can't poke a hole in a wall, but you can. You can dig underneath it. You can always find a way around a wall. Like
they can do it through the ocean too.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to get into America.
It's posturing.
Here's what I'm not understanding. Everybody seems to think it's a bad idea to cut Medicaid, though. Like, I could show you a video of Steve Bannon saying...
I don't think it's a bad idea, actually.
Well,
I think
a lot
we need
of
to trim.
big friggin' Republicans are like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. So...
Because their constituents rely on Medicaid.
But then
and it'll be
why
politically
are we...
unpopular.
And by the way, I'm so confused because I didn't find it. Where's the cut part? The only thing I see is
it's
you have to
work
work.
requirements.
How is that a cut?
Right.
I don't get it. Where's the
Basically,
cut?
they're hoping...
Am I a moron?
Well, they're hoping, this is how they see it as a cut. Basically, some people are going to have difficulty, proving that they're working or logging on to whatever system they set up.
So that's the cut? It's a hypothetical cut?
That people are just going to have a difficult time.
The idea is, and this did kind of work with welfare reform, to be fair to welfare reform. The reason you want people to work isn't just because you want to save money for the government. It's for dignity and showing the next generation this is what you do. And a lot of people got off welfare when they did put in welfare reform in 1996. It actually did work.
There's one other part of this equation that I'm curious.
Well, she talks about dignity. When AI takes over every single fucking job, what do? Are we undignified because we can't find work? So the way she talks about it, like dignity, you gotta, of course, if people can work and they'd like to work and they want to work, sure, but like, it's gonna be impossible for most people to find a job in like 10 fucking years, bro, when most fucking jobs are taken over by artificial intelligence. Then we're all gonna need government funding. We're all gonna need UBI, universal basic income, bro. When the machines are doing everything, and when ChatGPT is doing everything, how are you gonna make money to afford paying rent? How are you gonna pay your bills? You're gonna starve to death? What are you gonna do? You're gonna need the government. You're gonna need that government that you hate to come bail your ass out, yo.
Is what you all think about, because we don't know what the end result of Trump's trade wars will be, but if he does actually go through with astronomical tariffs on our trading partners, make no mistake about it, there will be job losses in this country. Companies will shut down.
Wow,
and if
really?
the unemployment rate goes up.
Who could have thought?
And it's harder to qualify for Medicaid if you lose your job and you can't find work. Isn't that kind of messed up?
Okay, I see that.
Did they not know that?
What did you say?
Trade wars. Curious what you all think about, because we don't know what the end result of Trump's trade wars will be, but if he does actually go through with astronomical tariffs on our trading partners, make no mistake about it, there will be job losses in this country. Companies will shut down. And if the unemployment rate goes up and it's harder to qualify for Medicaid if you lose your job and you can't find work, isn't that kind of messed up?
Okay, I see
Yeah.
that.
And that's what she means by a cut. Yeah, so they are cutting it in a way, even if it's indirectly. But yeah, people are going to lose their jobs, bro. And there's a recession coming right now, so like sales are going to go down. They're expecting like restaurant attendance to be down by like 3.3% in 2025. Waiters are going to be losing their jobs. Store clerks are going to be losing their jobs. ChatGPT is going to be taking over more jobs.
Wouldn't that inspire people to get off their butts and actually
I watch
work?
MSNBC all day, and it's all
Inspire people to get off their butts and work. Work what? Lindy, shut the fuck up. You're sitting, you're grifting for a living. You just sit there and fucking pretend to be a Republican and you make a bunch of money. Okay, most people have to get fucking gig workers now. They have to do Uber Eats and they have to drive DoorDash, and they get no health care, and they get no benefits, and they get no job security. There are no fucking jobs anymore. Nothing pays well. Salaries haven't gone up. There's fucking inflation. Corporations keep shipping jobs overseas. You know what I mean? And now they're giving them to AI. They're not even shipping them overseas because AI is cheaper than sending your call center to India now. Like whatever the fuck you want. You know what I mean?
What if? I think the tariffs are going to work. I think other countries are going to drop their tariffs. I think he's going to bring down drug prices. I think not going to war is going to be great for the world. And all I hear let's see. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong.
I have something to say about that. And as someone of Chinese descent, I think it's significant. Ever since China entered...
Stop being so... She complains about woke and identity politics, and she keeps bringing up that she's Chinese every fucking... My parents were poor Chinese immigrants. I'm Chinese, but I hate immigrants. Pick one, Lindy. Either be white or be Chinese. You can't be both.
The WTO in 2001, it's been taking advantage of us. It's been exploiting the system. The system has been fundamentally unfair. They've been stealing our tech. They've been stealing our proprietary information and building their economic engine.
And we've been exploiting their workers.
And Trump needed to do something.
Yeah, exactly. Stop. If you don't want the Chinese to steal your technology, stop exploiting their workers, okay? And there should be no, honestly, intellectual property, there should be no such fucking thing as intellectual property and like private. If someone has a fucking recipe for a fucking medicine, they fucking gatekeep that shit. You got fucking healthcare corporations gatekeeping medicine, bro. Are you fucking kidding me? For profits? Shut up. Who gives a fuck? The Chinese are making your phones. They know how to make your fucking phones, bro. You want them? You want their cheap labor? They're going to learn how to make your iPhones. They're going to make them cheaper. Okay? Deal with it.
Needed to be brave enough, willing to bite the bullet and take on the panicans of, both the uniparty, the phrase that you just used. And he's willing to do it. Let's give him 90 days to sort it out. I actually have faith that something will be done under his leadership, because the current status quo is fundamentally untenable. And God forbid, if we ever go to war with East Asia, we cannot be dependent on them for rare earth minerals, for instance. We just can't. We need to
Under
be
the
more.
Trump doctrine, we will not be going to war with them.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope.
And now you got Ukrainian minerals. So don't worry, Lindy. You got all the minerals you need. Google.
I was just, the other thing that I noticed that people were annoyed about this bill is that one of the mandates that Trump got in on fixing
this lady's kind of the least interesting on the panel, I gotta say.
The Australian one?
Dangerfield. I mean, she said
accent's just fun.
The accent is fun from time to time, but like she's got no, you know what I mean?
I can't tell what she is.
She's like a Republican, but like there's no spice to what she's saying. She's not causing any drama. She's not arguing with anyone.
economy, catering to the average person, the American worker, no tax on tips, no tax on overtimes, no tax on Social Security. Those are only temporary as well. It's like all of the good things are only temporary, and then all of the cuts are meant to take effect like way later. I am Team Trump all the way. I don't know if Trump even fully knows what's inside of this bill.
Nerds. Do you know?
Too easy.
President Trump, do you know what's happening with solar? Are there any updates on solar? President Trump. Sorry, I'm losing the plot here. What?
All the way. I don't know if Trump even fully knows what's inside of this bill. Can he even count on all of the people around him to be completely transparent about why people would be objecting to this in the first place? I can understand why people are not down for this thing. And I really hope that Republicans are able to come together. They're able to make some adjustments, because you can't just tell people that we are going to take away all of these taxes, all of these tax cuts later on, and then increase all of this spending, and then say it's not going to affect inflation and standard of living, because it will. All of the benefits are backloaded.
Well, this harkens back to what Nancy Pelosi said. We have to pass the bill in order.
They always like to blame inflation on like spending on American people. Like if you send a stimulus check, oh, but you're causing inflation. If you're doing anything to help actual Americans, no, you're going to cause inflation. But if you're spending billions to bail out corporations, if you're sending billions to Ukraine, if you're sending billions to Israel, no one fucking mentions inflation ever. If you give a penny, if you give an old lady some health care, oh my God, what about the inflation? If you give a poor student, if you try to forgive a poor student's debt, oh my God, what about the inflation? Sending Israel trillions of dollars for weapons? No one bats an eye. Bailing out Boeing or whatever the fuck? No one gives a shit. Go figure.
Find out what's in it, right?
Oh, God.
That sounds great and not dysfunctional at all.
Right, right. Okay, are we ready to move on from this one?
Yes.
The one
Oh my God. Man with long last name sends $2 and says, cursed idea. Imagine Hitler getting on this show.
That'd be very funny.
That would be fucking crazy. Them letting loose on Israel. But man, I would like to see Anna Kasparian fucking shit all over her when it comes to Israel. Anna would be a good foil for Hila. But yeah, Hila, I mean, look, so far out of these 5 panelists, 3 out of 5 are Republican. You got Ann Coulter, you got Lindy, and you got Dangerfield, the Australian. Those are 3 Republicans. Anna is a centrist at this point, and Jillian is like a nothing. She's just like fucking, I don't know what the fuck Jillian Michaels is. She's just fucking...
She bullies fat people.
Bullies fat people, exactly. She's a bit of both.
Question, because I think that people are hearing about this, and they're not sure, and it's slightly divergent, is the downgrade in our credit that they're tying to this bill. So Moody's Corporation apparently downgraded America's credit from AAA to AA1. And if you think, well, what does that mean and who cares? It's been suggested that it's going to be passed on to everyday Americans through higher interest rates on loans, home loans, car loans.
It basically means that the world is losing faith in the dollar, which hasn't happened, which doesn't really happen very easily. So for the world to lose faith in the dollar and that the dollar is weakening, hey, China, your opportunity's rolling up.
Loans and so on, and that it could devalue the dollar, which would drive up inflation. Now, I'm not an economist, and a couple of people are like, no, this is rhetoric, it's baloney, and they're just using this to attack Trump, but then other people say it's significant and it's of concern. What do we think on this one, team?
I think it's politically driven, and I think the timing was extremely significant. I think it's an anti-Trump move. I absolutely do.
It's not good. What's happening? It's out of my wheelhouse.
It's valid, though, correct? I mean, because it's...
Okay, so at least Anne believes what's happening. Lindy, I don't believe that's not even true. It's not true.
Significant and it's of concern. What do we think on this one, team?
I think it's politically driven, and I think the timing was extremely significant. I think it's an anti-Trump move. I absolutely do.
But this lady went from like being a Democrat to like being a completely like mush for brains like Republican. Like it's all politically driven. They just want to stop Trump. Like what is she going to do when Trump is no longer president? Like the grift is just going to end. You have 3 years left of grift, Lindy. Milk it now. Make all that money now. Charlie Kelly sends $5 and says, as a member of the Chinese delegation, I would like to trade Lindy Lee to the white delegation for anyone. We don't claim her and she can stay white. Well, Charlie, thank you so much for sending that because look, we have a few of those as Lebanese people. Lonerbox is actually half Lebanese. What's his name again? Nassim Yunus. Lonerbox is Lebanese.
Nasif Yunus?
I think Nassim or Nasif. We don't claim Lonerbox. AB, Abdullah from the AB podcast. Abdullah Ayad is Lebanese, half Lebanese. Lena is Lebanese. We don't really claim them either, you know what I mean? So there are a lot of Arabs and people that we're not too proud of. What can we do? What can we do? But we appreciate you, Charlie. Noted. We will never associate Lindy with the Chinese people ever again. Josiah Upperman sends $5 and says, from Lindsay's early life on her wiki, if you want to know how impoverished she was, Lindy. Her father worked as a real estate executive and property owner. Oh, that sounds so poor.
What?
Thank you for the update, Josiah. That's actually very interesting. So The poor,
pretending
her
to be
father
poor.
was just a poor, lowly old real estate developer. Hard to put food on the table in between every house he sold. Maybe he was a really bad real estate developer, and maybe he owned like really shitty property. I'm just trying to give her the benefit of the doubt right now. Why? I don't know. Back to the show.
It's not good. What's happening? It's out of my wheelhouse.
It's valid, though, correct? I mean, because it's based on, as you and I were just discussing, it's national debt.
Our debt.
Like, it's based on
our
real.
debt.
It's a problem.
And the reason why Moody's lowered our AAA credit rating is because of the fact that you have this impending bill that, as it's written right now, is expected to increase our debt by $5 trillion.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. So I get where they're coming from. And, you know, if for as long as I've been in this, you know, industry, the Republican Party has repeatedly said that they're concerned about the debt and the deficit.
And then they do nothing.
Exactly. In fact, no, they do worse. They exacerbate the issue.
So bottom line is, we're hoping there are still
I need to
significant
pee.
changes to come with the big, beautiful bill.
Go for it. I think I need to number 2, folks, but I'm gonna try to hold it in.
What? There's only one bathroom.
No, there's 2 bathrooms actually, but there's only we can't abandon the audience completely. We can both go at the same time, but I just don't want to leave the audience completely alone. You see, guys, I would never abandon you. I would never abandon you. Let's keep watching some of this here.
Yeah. All right, and I guess that
I think
remains
it's
to be
going to
seen.
take Trump putting pressure on them. He could do it, but he doesn't seem to be doing it.
And just making those adjustments. I just hope that there are people that he's willing to listen to who are honest with him about the real draw, because I honestly am not 100% convinced that he even knows why people are so opposed to this.
All right, moving on. This one's
Is
big.
she sitting on like a
Scandalous.
lower stool than everyone else?
All right, moving on. This
Her
one's
head
big,
ends here.
scandalous, but of course Trump is trolling the Clintons again. So he just posted a video on X about how several people around the Clintons have mysteriously passed away over the years. Let's take a look.
Jr. He was declared the front-runner for the New York Senate seat back in 1999.
I'm holding on to the number 2, folks. I need to go drop it. Anthony holding the 2. I am. But I'm strong, folks. I'm going to be strong for you. Okay? I'm being strong for all of you guys right now.
Later, his plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, and his rival, Hillary Clinton, was elected senator. Mary Mahoney was a Clinton White House intern. She knew enough of the inner workings of Bill's sexual advancements to be a star witness during the Clinton impeachment trials. She was brutally executed at a Starbucks she was managing in 1997. In 1993, White House counsel Vince Foster was found dead in Fort Marcy Park near D.C. He supposedly killed himself, and among a lengthy list of potential foul play, the bullet was never found. Then there's James McDougal, a key witness for White House prosecutors. He was serving his 3-year sentence for bank fraud at the Fort Worth Federal Medical Center in Texas. And just before he was to
What
give
am I
testimony
watching,
before the
bro?
grand jury, McDougal suffered a heart attack in solitary confinement. In 2015, Walter Scheib, a White House chef hired under Bill Clinton, joined the
Are they saying that the Clintons murdered all these people?
His body was found at the bottom of a river, nearly 2 miles from the base of the trail he was reportedly hiking. An autopsy determined that Scheib's death was accidental drowning, but he might have known too much. 27-year-old was shot and killed. In
I think, you know what, Nat, I think we get it. Here's the only thing that I will say is I have heard this quite.
So they just played a video that like Trump shared a video where they show a bunch of people that supposedly the Clintons killed, like a chef, someone that used to annoy Hillary Clinton. I didn't get it. It was just like some kind of the Clinton body count conspiracy.
Often over the years, and obviously dismissed it as being absurd, but when you start to listen to individuals like Rogan who talk about this guy Vince Foster and where they found his body, like his blood wasn't on the scene, so it was clear they had moved the guy's body. Like each and every one of these does seem to be a little bit suspicious. So I mean, is this absurd or not? And
it's absurd.
It is.
Are we talking about the Clinton? Is this really what her take is talking about right now? They're discussing whether the Clintons murdered a bunch of people. This is kind of insane, I would say. No.
I mean, the one that you mentioned, Vince Foster, I didn't know you were going to spring this on me, but I looked at it to write my book, High Crimes and Misdemeanors.
Like, this is like the most boomer-coded shit ever. The Clintons murdered their chef. Find out why. Like, what?
For Trump's, or rather Clinton's impeachment. And no, it was a nonsense story. It sort of ginned up right-wingers. It's funny, so people will repeat it because it's funny. The list is way longer, including Buddy the dog.
Like, it's insane.
I mean, to the extent there were sort of a lot of surprising business associates who died, they were, back in Arkansas, both Clintons, doing business with a lot of sleazy people, with a lot of criminals, the whole Whitewater thing. And when you're doing business with sleazy people, it's not Hillary.
I don't think I can hold it anymore. Kenny, you're going to sit? in
gonna sit
this
and
seat.
watch.
You're gonna sit at the main seat. You can play the video. You can pause the video to make commentary. Folks, Karina's gonna lead the show. And the phone is here. You can check out the live chat right here. I'm making a real sacrifice by going to the bathroom without a phone, folks. That's a true sacrifice right there, and that's true bravery.
Oh my god, I'm so scared right now. I've never been in this seat. Okay, let's watch this.
Bring a hit, but they often die. If you're doing business with the mob, it wasn't quite that bad, but it was like the Arkansas mob. And Vince Foster, for example, he was involved in the Whitewater. I think he was the lawyer on it. And that was dirty from top to bottom. It was about to be exposed. If you care, I think Byron York was one.
Politics earlier said Anthony's sitting on a full stool, saving it for later. You're nasty. Don't talk about it like that.
I'm looking at it all the time. I think the blood seeped into the ground, or it was a BS story, or the autopsy photos were fake. But you're all.
I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I have no idea how to power OBS and shit, so I don't know what to do, how to do anything. I just know how to pause and play.
Going to look like Pierre Salinger if you keep pushing this. He had to flee to France because he believed.
But Jillian,
Can you give us an Australian impression? I can't do impressions. I can't do accents. You've been asking me the entire stream. I really can't. Can you give us an Australian accent impression, please? It's like, to me, the Australian accent is like if you put the British accent in a blender. Nar, President Trump. President Trump got a gift from Coulter.
Theory online.
The conspiracy theories seem a little dopey, I'm going to be honest. But like, if Trump genuinely believes it, I mean, he's
Fuck,
posting
there's
it on
like
social
30
media.
minutes left. I want to
don't
go
think he
home.
believes it either.
Guys, have you ever seen Scandal? Now that Anthony's not here, have you guys ever seen Scandal? I'm watching it right now because the chemistry between Tony Goldwyn and Kerry Washington is fucking crazy. The show's horrible politically, don't get me wrong. Really bad show, but holy fuck. Ew. Anyway, let's continue.
Funny.
I don't think
and it is funny.
Yeah, and I think Trump loves to troll. I think that's what that was about. And if he did genuinely believe it, I mean, you could, get the DOJ to investigate these deaths.
Question, does he?
Right?
I didn't live in the US, no.
I mean, no. Okay.
There
This is paranoia.
there is enough real dirt on the Clintons, so that we don't even need to go there. There are like literal substantiated reports of, frankly, their evil, their malice, their selfishness, extreme selfishness in the ways that they dealt with allies and enemies alike. These are two extremely selfish, power-hungry individuals. I would say even almost soulless. Their one compass is power. Their only sovereign is money and wealth and power.
Oh, guys, I'm making a short film with my friend. If you know anyone, an actor from Lebanon and who lives in Lebanon and is down to be in a romantic drama, let them DM me on Instagram, Kari.neb, Kari.neb. Thank you.
Their entire life. Their one mission of both lives actually is the presidency. And
It's
Hillary
Lindy.
Clinton, she lived for this. This is the reason for her existence. That's why when she lost, she was so crushed. Because that was the entire purpose of her life. From the moment she stepped foot on Yale Law School, on the campus of Yale Law School, and met Bill Clinton, they made a deal that it was going to be him first, then it was going to be her. And the two of them are just deeply power-hungry individuals. And I would even throw a third in there. Chelsea Clinton's like that too. And I know that because I worked on her campaign. I have friends who are still in that circle. They sold ambassadorships to friends. And
every president does.
Different? Exactly, that's my question.
Yeah, ambassadorships.
What makes that any different than any other president?
Because they took it to another degree.
How then, if they're not killing?
Thank you, Natalie, for the $5 Aussie. Thank you for the $5 Aussie. I think that's like $3 American. Thank you.
Although that's kind of my point.
Yes, I think that's a bigger
sort
story.
of my point. Like, if they're not, it's all the same. They're all corrupted. They're all bought off.
I mean, that was the emails, right? The email situation. How many emails did they uncover? Like 13,000, and then there was,
30,000.
I think, like 17,000 that they were
30,000.
okay that they were still unable to
You want her
uncover.
server? Yeah.
What they found was bad. So that begs. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Since
No,
we're
true.
doing
We
it's
need
like a
to,
super
like, let's-
conspiracy theory. Okay,
Yeah,
maybe
have
not.
fun with it, but let's establish the fact that, as the OG insider,
Okay.
that's why I wanted to let you put this to bed. But I mean,
not
by all
sure I
means,
did.
So maybe it's not the Clintons directly, but clearly there are people who were covering up for them if they were able to get those emails hidden, right?
If they were able to get those emails hidden.
Could
Sorry.
it possibly be that they wanted to
Bloody
silence
Ripper.
some things, and maybe it wasn't them directly, but powerful accomplices that they had? How were they able to hide those emails in the first place?
Well, they destroyed the server.
Yeah,
like
they
they literally
like,
went
beat it with
this.
hammers.
Exactly. They breached the server themselves. And the way that
Someone asked, Kerin, can you say it's a bra... It's a brawl bricked nicked the nicked.
Hillary Clinton went after the women who credibly accused
I think
her
Anthony's
husband
done. Yeah,
of
shitting.
affairs and sexual harassment, all of that, the way that she herself treated those women.
All's good in the hot seat. I kept it warm for you.
Thank you. Oh, I don't want to feel anything warm on my behind. Oh.
Feels better to be here. The other seat is scary.
It's been a rough day, folks. Looks like we got a super chat.
Yeah, I thank Natalie.
Well, thank you, Natalie. Muchos. Did I miss anything important, Karine, in the conversation?
In the Haydala, they're still going on about what they were talking about earlier, and it's hard to keep up.
What were they talking about earlier?
The Clintons.
I had to read like the wet wipes and like ingredients list. Basically, I had no phone in there. So we're talking about Hillary. Oh, the Clinton murdering people. That's right.
No, but then they moved on, and I'm not sure what they're talking about right now.
The Clinton murders. Let's see what they're talking about. Maki's not here anymore, folks.
Bottles of water.
Maki's chilling.
It completely undermines her facade as being a feminist, as someone who stands up for women.
But they're still alive.
They're
still alive.
Okay, what about this? This is a pretty gross scandal, and I do remember hearing about that for years, and it's like this woman, that woman, this woman, that one. I remember when Trump marched them all out.
That was great.
At that debate, I thought, like, oh my God, this is all kabuki. None of this is real, but then the question becomes, like,
We're talking about emails? We're talking about the Clinton emails? What? Still?
What else could you...
What is it, 2018, 2017? Get off the emails, Jillian Michaels. Mesopotamianus sends $2 Say good eye, mate. Are you talking to Karine with the accent?
Without good eye, mate. Like that?
Without the accent.
Good eye, mate. The
Good
way
eye.
you say it without the accent.
Good eye, mate.
Good eye, mate.
Good eye, mate. There's a dingo at your baby.
Can I ask you guys a question? Do you think that there's even a 0.001 small % chance that the person who attempted to assassinate Trump wasn't just this lone shooter or anything like that? That it could have been the deep state, that it could have some type of...
No, I totally disagree with you.
Actually, like, I find it strange that we haven't gotten any updates on any investigation into both of those individuals, right?
That's a whole show. That's so sketchy. And
it's weird.
I don't know. That is just...
I like that Anne doesn't find... She's like, nope, I just think it's probably just a fucking random crazy dude, bro. The fact that Anne isn't going with this... Ann Coulter is weirdly being, like, acceptable in this episode. You know, not acceptable, but, like, you know.
She goes from 0 to 100.
She goes from, like, okay, this is sensible to, like, fucking racist, insane motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. There's no in-between.
So much there.
I love how we found out more about the bomber on New Year's Day than we did about the attempted assassin against Trump.
I mean, we've seen in the JFK files, the CIA, I mean, nothing that spells it out in black and white. They couldn't possibly be complicit. I mean...
There was nothing in the RFK files. I don't think there's been any more on the Butler shooter because there's nothing to it. He's dead. There is no investigation. He was a nut.
What about the other guy, though?
The other guy, I mean, it's not an investigation. I guess he's going to be prosecuted, but in prosecutions generally, I wouldn't mind hearing more, but we'll find it when he goes to trial. For some reason, these criminal trials take a long time. I guess we'll see then, but no, I don't think any of these are conspiracies. I do think that this isn't a conspiracy, but the media has been utterly reckless in calling...
Oh. She lifted her arm. That could have been a close-up.
Please don't.
I think that this isn't a conspiracy, but the media has been utterly reckless in calling Trump a fascist who will destroy democracy.
And I bought into that.
Zoom back in. We got good pit action.
You know, James Comey do the 86-47, and you know he put those shells there himself.
No.
It's just reckless, and I don't think he should go to jail for it, but...
Comey's
It's stunning for them to keep saying destroying democracy, destroying democracy. Of course, nuts are going to act on it.
Right. Yeah, but
This is not good.
That's why there's a trust deficit for not only the Democratic Party, but the MSDNC. And yes, I'm...
Folks, this is the content you're coming here for, okay?
Do not worry,
This is,
content.
when we do our Her Take reactions, this is the chillest that Do Not Worry will ever be, okay? Until we get to our movie show, Do Not Worry Movie Edition. This Friday, premiering this week. You ready, Karine? Premiering this week.
Absolutely, yeah, let's do it.
We don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But it would be fun, I think.
Calling them that.
They believe it at the New York Times.
And you know what? I'm going to be the first to apologize. I bought into the Trump derangement syndrome whole thing. I bought into the narrative that the Hunter Biden laptop was fake. I thought that, I thought it was NBC News, this prominent news organization. They must be telling us the truth. But no, they lied to us. And not only did they lie to us, they marched out dozens of members from the esteemed American intellect.
Oh, Ali Cleo sends 2.98 Singaporean dingoes. Hey guys, sending love from Singapore. I don't know what the D stands for, but thank you so much. That's so sweet. We love Singapore.
$1.
Oh, dollars. I thought it would be dingoes.
Intellectual community, intelligence community, including Jake Sullivan and Anthony Blinken, who said that the laptop was Russian disinformation. That was all a lie. That laptop was real as fuck.
I just wish they let the laptop story play out.
I know.
Sorry.
Who cares? Who cares?
The laptop?
The sun.
No,
Yeah,
someone
who
said.
cares?
Well, Schmegley said Bill Maher has biblical knowledge of ass pits.
Bill Maher likes armpits?
I think because they were together.
Oh, Bill Maher went out with Ann Coulter?
Yeah. That's what they've been saying the entire chat. I
Oh,
don't
that's
know
fucking
if-
crazy,
wait,
bro.
let me check.
Okay,
Well,
so
the
he does
second
drugs
big
and he
guy
has
thing.
sex with hookers. Like, who cares? But like, the fact that they tried to suppress it made it way more nefarious.
Agreed. I guess the argument is, well, he's a foreign agent who didn't register
Well,
because he was
it's
working
bigger
in
than
Ukraine.
that.
He said that he used to
bigger than
fuck
that
Ann
because
Coulter.
Oh.
Ugh, nightmare.
Why would you put that image in our heads? I don't want to know. Ann Coulter's bad enough as it is. I got to imagine Bill Maher and Ann Coulter doing it. Two ghouls. The people are calling this panel Nightmare Blunt Rotation. Imagine smoking a blunt with Bill Maher and Ann Coulter. Oh, my God. Or like being a fly on the wall as they have like pillow talk. Ugh.
Yeah.
Kill me now.
Would have laid out that Joe Biden was an influence peddler in the most extraordinary degree, and that he was a big guy, and that he was the one getting
Maybe.
10%.
The worst thing, exactly. The worst thing about the laptop is the hardest to prove. What you're saying, how much was the big guy getting? It's the hardest to prove.
Not only that, Joe
The easy
Biden
part
knew.
to prove, nobody cares about.
Losing control here. I was trying to get some pit actions, folks. Sorry.
People are accusing you of having an armpit fetish.
No, oh, not at all. No, it's just like I don't know. It's just distracting. It's like right in the middle of my screen. It's like flabbing and shit. Like.
What you're saying, how much was the big guy getting? It's the hardest.
And you're all looking at it now.
The easy part to prove, nobody cares about.
Right.
And not only
It's
that,
not
though, Joe Biden marched out his drug addict to his son and essentially had him acting as a bad man around the country, taking him with him, taking Hunter Biden with him on trips to China, for goodness sakes, around the world doing business deals. Why would you need to
Why were you raising money for Biden then?
Because
I need to
just
understand.
told
You
you.
need to-
I just told you.
No. I know you get real angry when people ask you that question, but you need to answer it because you.
Let's go. They made us wait an hour and 20 minutes for this. An hour and 11 minutes. Let's go, folks. Let's enjoy this. Let's watch it at regular speed. You know what I mean? This is what we want. This is the good stuff. Let's go back. Maybe we'll get some good armpit footage from Ann Coulter in slow motion.
Country, taking him with him, taking Hunter Biden with him on trips to China, for goodness sakes, around the world doing business deals. Why would you need to take
Why were you raising money for Biden then?
Because
I need to understand.
I just told you.
No. I know you get real angry when people ask you that question, but you need to answer it because you didn't turn on the Bidens and the Democratic Party until after the election.
No.
Oh, so it's been like a few months. She turned on Biden like a couple of months. Let's go, Anna. There we go, calling her a grifter. That's what we want. More of this, please. Come on, PBD.
No.
Keep it down.
No.
Keep it down.
I just apologized at the very top of the segment, did I not? I said I bought into
I don't
the
care about your
Hunter lie.
apology. I want to understand your thinking.
You just
right?
asked me
As
to repeat
all
myself.
These things were happening.
Anna,
why
just
did you
told
wait
you.
until after the election?
I
to say-
didn't, though. Do you understand English? I just said I didn't.
do. You're lying, though.
Fight.
No, I'm not.
Fight.
Did I not
Fight.
tell you that I went
She
on Fox
accused her
on
of
Sunday
lying.
before the debate exposing his cognitive decline?
Okay, but did you bring up like your issues with the Hunter Biden laptop story? The fact that they were trying to control you behind the scenes?
I just said I bought into
She thought it was
that.
real.
I just told you 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
I thought it was real.
Okay.
And then when they
I'm just a stupid 30-something-year-old who just buys into random things. What are they even talking about? Like the Hunter Biden laptop thing, that it was real or not real? I don't even know what what was up with the laptop. He had a laptop that like got stolen or some shit, and there was a bunch of leaks on there. Like, who cares, bro? I didn't know I fell for that.
lied to me about the millions that I raised. I thought, okay, if they're lying about this, what else are they lying about? And it took me months to realize they basically lied about everything.
It is funny how that works. You know, the first lie for me was the COVID lie. This is the
Yes,
lab.
that was huge.
I was like,
The lab leak.
wait a minute. You know, and
I think the shutdowns, I don't even know if it came from the lab, but the entire COVID thing was a lie.
I remember listening to, I've mentioned this before, so forgive me if you've heard it, but I remember listening to Brett Weinstein break.
Dude, this ain't the COVID lie. What lie part of it? The fact that COVID like exists. COVID is a real thing. The fact that it like leaked from a lab. Isn't that what it looks like? It most probably was a lab leak, right? But they said it was like bats or something at first. That someone ate a bat, but like no, it was most likely a lab leak from people doing like testing on like pathogens, and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Down in March of 2020 on Rogan. He's an evolutionary biologist, so he was looking at different elements of like where's the incubation population for this virus. Like normally, for a pandemic, the pathogen will incubate within a population, learn its host, and become more dangerous. Where's the host animal? Like all these different things, and then in particular, the smoking gun was this fear and cleavage site that appeared to have been spliced into the virus's genome, and it had never been seen. And
that turned out to be false. But forget the lab. The shutdowns were a lie. We need everyone masked was a lie. They destroyed the American economy. That was a lie.
Okay, I'm sorry. Masks are good. Are we still fucking debating masks? Masks are a good way to stop spreading disease. It makes sense to wear masks, okay, when people around you have a cold. If they wear a mask, they're not gonna fucking sneeze on you. It decreases your chances of catching something, okay? Let's stop fucking talking about masks. Shutdowns, at first, it's a brand new global pandemic. The world is fucking lost, confused, people are scared. It makes sense to like, hey, let's not maybe congregate and go to fucking concerts for a while until we figure out what happens. Now, the problem is that the government fucking abandoned these people. They forced movie theaters to close down, didn't give them any fucking grants. They forced venues to close down, barely gave them any fucking grants. They forced restaurants to close down, barely gave them any money to survive the closing. That was the problem. It was very misfucking handled. But the fact that people are trying to close businesses or close things to try to understand this virus and try to mitigate the damage makes a lot of sense. Now, you can have your doubts about the vaccines, or they developed the vaccine too fast, or whatever. You could be uncomfortable with getting the vaccine, but like just the basics of like wearing a mask and shutting some places down, that's fine. But it's the way that it was handled, like movie theaters. The government forced movie theaters to close. They did nothing to compensate movie theaters for closing their businesses for months and months and months. COVID was actually horrible for the whole movie industry. Like, that's fucked up if you want to talk about something, but like fucking masks at this point still, really?
I mean, in the end, who cares whether it was the wet
Kids are
market
still
or the
suffering
lab?
from
It
that.
came from China.
I think we all experienced so much collective trauma during COVID,
Yeah.
and I think that was a part of the agenda, because when the resolve of an entire country is weakened, then that's when they can come in and they can impose their agenda much easier as well. The whole COVID thing, so evil, so nefarious, and I think the fact that literally a few years ago, you were being completely deplatformed, decredited, called a crazy conspiracy theorist if you were to speculate about this theory.
Or even
and now
ivermectin.
now it's a
as
universally
therapeutic.
accepted
Or the
narrative.
shutdowns.
Like,
Yeah, of course. Well, that just, I'm going to put a button on this one right now. That would be the only reason, is that I would even entertain such a crazy concept of the Clintons having this string of murders, because you're just kind of like, well,
So
I mean,
much so.
I
Yeah, you're
never
right.
thought
You're right.
this is possible. All right, moving swiftly onward. Thank you
Look,
for putting that one to bed.
The Clintons definitely fucking killed someone. Like, everybody's killed someone. Almost everyone who's president probably had to kill someone to fucking shut him up, or like to stop a story from leaking. Would I be shocked if we find out one day that the Clintons ordered or like facilitated the death of like someone somewhere? Of course not. But I wouldn't be shocked if every single politician, every single US president had the same allegations against him, bro. Haven't you watched House of Cards? It's all fucked.
This is how conspiracy theories develop. You can't trust the media.
Right.
You can't trust
Anne.
health professionals.
Yeah.
That's how conspiracy theories develop.
yeah.
Well, that just means that we have to do the homework and talk to credible experts and before forming opinions. All right, our next one. Serious questions are swirling around the Trump administration's handling of the Alien Enemies Act. So reports suggest that they have ignored multiple court orders in recent deportation cases that are raising alarms about the executive overreach. So let's take a look here.
Judge's order just earlier today, quote, patently unlawful, end quote, and said that it was an assault on democracy.
I don't care about this
itself.
topic.
Does that mean that the administration is ignoring this order and might
1.5x, baby, let's go.
Orders that meet the criteria you laid out?
The President of the United States and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Enemies Act, which was passed into law by the founding generation of this country, men like John Adams, was written explicitly to give the President the authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That is not something that a district court judge has any authority whatsoever to interfere with, to enjoin, to restrict, or to restrain any way. You can read the law yourself. There's not one clause in that law that makes it subject to judicial review, let alone district court review.
I know. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I can see it in your eyes.
So, look, whatever you think about the use of the Alien Enemies Act to deport people who are here illegally, put that aside for a second. First of all, I don't agree with its uses. We can adjudicate that in a bit. But my bigger issue at the moment is that in that answer we just heard from Miller, it seems pretty clear that they do not intend to follow through with a federal judge's order. Now, to give you a sense of how I am not hypocritical on this issue, when Biden was still president and a federal...
Folks, just take a second. If you're watching the live chat, if you're watching the live stream, like the video. Make sure to like the stream. That way, I mean, it's too late now, but like, you know, it'll help people find it. 2 hours in.
You know, weighed in on the abortion pill, and Democrats didn't like the decision. AOC went on cable news and essentially said the Biden administration should just ignore the court order. No, you shouldn't ignore it. No, hell no. I'm in favor of keeping the abortion pill legal, obviously, but at the same time, you open a disastrous can of worms, a constitutional crisis,
what?
when you have people in power.
She wants the abortion pill to remain legal.
No, as the whatever.
I'm zoned out a little bit. Let's go back and see what's up.
That in a bit. But my bigger issue at the moment is that in that answer we just heard from Miller, it seems pretty clear that they do not intend to follow through with a federal judge's order. Now, to give you a sense of how I am not hypocritical on this issue, when Biden was still president and a federal judge, you know, weighed in on the abortion pill, and Democrats didn't like the decision, AOC went on cable news and essentially said the Biden administration should just ignore the court order. No, you shouldn't ignore it. No, hell no. I'm in favor of keeping the abortion pill legal, obviously, but at the same time, you open a disastrous can of worms, a constitutional crisis, when you have people in power just ignoring the federal courts, throwing our system of checks and balances away. We have to protect our system of government. That's the thing I'm concerned about.
Well, what the Trump administration is saying that this doesn't even fall.
So she's saying she wants abortions to happen, but if the federal government decides that abortions are illegal, that she doesn't want AOC to
say like
to undermine the legal system. Like if the federal government says it's illegal, we should respect it and keep it illegal.
Shut up! Your government's stupid.
Is that what you're really? Is that what Anna's saying?
Yeah, I think that's what she's saying.
Time you open a actually said the Biden administration should just ignore
democracy isn't real.
No, you shouldn't ignore it. No, hell no. I'm in favor of keeping the abortion pill legal, obviously, but at the same time, you open a disastrous can of worms, a constitutional crisis, when you have people in power just ignoring the federal courts, throwing our system of checks and balances away. We have to protect our system of government. That's the thing I'm concerned about.
Well, what the Trump administration is saying, that this doesn't even fall under the jurisdiction of the courts. This is under the president's purview to protect us against an alien invasion. That's what Trump is saying. I actually happen to agree with him.
Why aren't we talking about actual aliens? Like, this is fucking boring. Let's talk about laws regarding alien invasions. If aliens come to Earth, bro, let's talk about UFOs and shit.
There's no way we're going to be able to deport millions of people if we have to do this case by case.
On the abortion thing, that was interpreting an agency action, which is explicitly something the courts can review. Whereas here, this is foreign policy, this is commander-in-chief, and I have long said this. Courts have no role on this whatsoever. The constitutional crisis is they're butting into the commander-in-chief's role.
You're suggesting it's the reverse. That the courts are out of line.
Absolutely.
With regard
That's
to the judicial branch
crisis.
of the government.
It's outrageous what they're doing.
But
gosh, I have not heard that one before.
Hold on, though. The question is, people coming into the country illegally is different from a foreign government, like, literally invading the United States.
Not
what government are they talking about?
Really
no idea.
I mean, a federal judge thinks it does matter.
The federal judge has no authority on this. Elian Gonzalez, Cuban, arrives in Florida. He completely lost under state law, and the Supreme Court rules immigration is part of foreign policy. It's up to the president, whatever he wants to do.
So this precedent is what you're saying.
Immigration is part of his foreign policy.
Can I ask
it was
this?
a bad story, but I mean, Democrats will send a small 8-year-old boy back to a communist dictatorship. All we want to do is
they're talking
get
about
rid of
immigrants.
terrorists.
Okay.
That's what we're trying to do. But the point is, constitutionally, courts have absolutely no role. And
Well, why does it say then in the Constitution? I'm asking honestly. It doesn't say citizens are entitled to due process. It says persons.
Due process under the Constitution means you have a neutral fact finder.
Okay, I got
it. So if an immigration officer says, we think you're from Nicaragua, we're deporting you. If he's allowed to respond, that's due process under the Constitution. This idea that it has to be, a full court hearing and we're paying for the attorney and then it gets appealed to the appellate court.
Exactly.
No, you need one
Jesus,
finder
lady.
of fact. You need to let the person accused respond.
She's really
And there
evil.
was a mandate on this as well.
That's
This is
it.
one of the-
Are you a criminal? No, sir. You're deported. What?
the topics that the heat index on this issue was so high because it was literally in people's front yards. They were being affected by it. Little kids, the women that were raped.
And the person is allowed to respond, and that's it.
Sorry, let me
All
just...
8-year-old boy back to a communist dictatorship. All we want policy. It's up to the president, whatever he wants.
So this precedent is what you're saying.
Immigration is part of his foreign policy.
Can I ask
it was
this?
a bad story, but I mean, Democrats will send a small 8-year-old boy back to a communist dictatorship. All we want to do is get rid of terrorists. That's what we're trying to do. But
Cuba is a communist dictatorship?
Have absolutely no role. And
Well, why does it say then in the Constitution? I'm asking honestly. It doesn't say citizens are entitled to due process. It says persons.
Due process under the Constitution means you have a neutral fact finder, and the person is allowed to respond, and that's it. So if an immigration officer says, we think you're friend de Aragua, we're deporting you. If he's allowed to respond, that's due process under the Constitution. This idea that it has to be, a full court hearing.
That's
and
crazy,
you're paying
bro.
For the attorney.
High because it was literally in people's front yards. They were being affected by little kids, the women that were raped by some of these people that came in here. This truly is a state of emergency. And every single day that slips by that Trump is unable to fulfill on that mandate is going to grow weaker. So I'm okay with him enacting whatever he needs to do to get it out. There's a huge difference, as we established in the last episode, between legal and illegal immigration. Coming through the proper way, through the proper channels, anybody who doesn't do that and who cannot do that needs to get out.
No, that is not the conversation right now. You're right, there's due process. I'm just saying it's much less than people think.
That's fair, but there needs to be due process. I mean, what we've seen is literally the Trump administration's lawyers admitting in court filings that
there was
in
an
some
administrative
cases,
error.
They made administrative errors and accidentally deported the wrong people, right? So that's why, look.
Those weren't really Trump lawyers. Those were career DOJ attorneys, which is why they have been fired since then.
Well, here's my question. Nonetheless, it was an administrative error. That guy was in the country legally.
No, the administrative error was one of the judges. He had been ordered, deported twice by 2 immigration judges.
Ugh. It's not that I don't care about this, but like they're talking about this for so long.
Alleged administrative error was, at one point, he wasn't supposed to be sent back to El Salvador because he had been in a rival gang, and the other gang had the upper hand.
I'm so sick of El Salvador and the gangs and deporting people to El Salvador. Like, I get it, it's bad, but like, I don't want to have to watch this. This is your problem, Americans. This one is not very relevant to us right here. Let me just see if they keep talking about this, and then we're going to skip it.
You brought up a really good point a few segments ago. You said that due process, now they expect due process to mean
Blah, 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 due process.
People aren't flooding the border anymore. So it's harder for him to deport people because he has to go into the country and find people who are here.
Address the birth rate thing. I think this is utterly retarded. We do not need more.
What? Whoa, I'm glad I came here. What?
Stance on immigration. People aren't flooding the border anymore. So it's harder for him to deport people because he has to go into the country and find people who are here.
Address the birth rate thing. I think this is utterly retarded. We do not need more people being born. We absolutely do not need more immigrants.
Jillian laughed at that.
The only people who don't collect more from the government than they pay in are citizens. Immigrants take more than they pay in. Illegal immigrants take a lot more than they pay in. It's costing us in housing costs go up. You have to house more people. You have to educate more people.
We're not housing anybody.
Bro, are we going to get demonetized for letting her say that word?
No, I think it'll be fine.
What the fuck?
I think it'll be fine.
PBD. Check your shit, bro.
Parks, you have to have English as a second language. The American middle class is paying for legal and illegal immigrants. And this idea that we need more people for one reason, to support the Ponzi scheme of Social Security. Name one other reason we need more people. If we had cut off immigration in 1890,
Social Security, I think, would collapse because they do pay taxes. It's just that they don't get the benefits because of the fact that they have stolen Social Security numbers.
Oh, they're collecting Social
and
Security.
They pay, I mean, I don't know about Social Security. They don't get Social Security. They don't qualify for federal benefits, but they do qualify for some state welfare
Their
programs.
anchor babies do.
And you know why?
That's why they get so much.
But you know why it's hard
$10 to $11 billion a year.
They're
Anchor baby.
I'm not an anchor baby. I ain't no anchor baby. I ain't got nothing to do with this. I mean, I think my parents got their American citizenship before my sister and I were born.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Oh,
Anthony's
yeah.
not an anchor baby.
I ain't no anchor baby. I'm a legitimate baby. I'm a legitimate American baby. I could be president. I'm going to be your president one day. Remember that. Remember me, folks. And then the clip of me celebrate the Israel clip will go viral. Like, this man is trying to be your president. Then I'll be canceled.
Taking more than they're paying.
There's a $50 billion disparity there. At least the last time I looked into it was a few weeks ago, unless I read the numbers wrong, because I've had this discussion. Can you fact
Drag
check that,
Darippa
Nat,
says
and
she's
then we'll
showing
wrap up?
off her pits now. You see, now you're all just looking at the pits. Every time Ann Coulter comes on, I know that's all you guys can look at now. I know I did that. I know. Anthony, you missed her. The pits. Oh, they're telling me I missed the pits. What'd she do?
Disparity there.
$1 a year.
No, they are taking more. That's why they get.
Oh.
Wait, they don't look bad like that.
And you know,
There's only one way to find out.
Oh, stop.
There you go, folks. She's showing off the pits.
That's why they get so much.
but you know why it's hard
$10 to $11 billion a year.
No, they are taking more than they're paying.
Chat pointed it out.
Disparity there. At least
I created some monsters.
last time I looked into it was a few weeks ago, unless I read the numbers wrong, because I've had this discussion. Can you fact check that, Nat, and then we'll wrap it up?
And you know why it's harder for Trump to deport now?
How much do we spend on illegal
Shut up,
immigration,
Lindy.
like tax-wise, and how much do they pay into the system? I feel like it was like $96 billion versus 150 billion. But
You
I
can
And
you
what
can
these-
check in my book, Adios America. It is footnoted. The URL is there. The actual numbers.
And one reason why it's so much harder for Trump to deport people is that we now have sanctuary cities like my own city of Philadelphia, where you have a mayor who's complicit in this illegal immigration scheme and just housing these people and busing them into the city and providing them with, a sanctuary.
What was the source for this?
Oh my God, he's busing homeless people that don't have anywhere to go, and he's giving them sanctuary, and he's feeding them. What a disgusting pig! what a horrible person! He's ruining Philadelphia. Listen to this fucking crazy.
And one reason why it's so much harder for Trump to deport people is that we now have sanctuary cities like my own city of Philadelphia, where you have a mayor who's complicit in this illegal immigration scheme and just housing these people and busing them into the city and providing them with,
Bro, America,
oh my God, how dare he?
Bro, America shouldn't have this many unhoused people. Less than like what? You start fucking paying people, bro. Stop leaving people unhoused. This is the richest fucking country on earth. Why do you have so many homeless people?
I'm confused. How are illegal immigrants both stealing all your resources and rich at the same time homeless?
Yeah, they're stealing your jobs, but they're also homeless and can't keep a job. And they're doing all these
And they're
crimes.
doing drugs.
They're doing drugs
and they're
crime,
doing abortions.
But they're also stealing your jobs. That's a good point.
a sanctuary.
What was the source for this?
The right incentives aren't in place for good immigrants to come in. They're in place for
Good
bad
immigrants.
to come
Okay,
in.
totally agree with you. Okay, and does it say how much they paid into the system though? Because I feel like it was almost.
They're
almost
using
like it
ChatGPT
has
as
to
a
be net for them
source?
to come up with 150.
Well, better than Grok.
Right?
Episode 1, they were using Grok.
I have the net in my
And there you go. Okay, before I wrap us up here, final thoughts, team. No, we're ready to close it out.
Thank God.
No, this was 2 hours. That's my final thought. Good grief, I'm exhausted.
And
I want a Nicorette, I want a coffee.
Where do we get more from you?
Oh, AnnCoulter.substack.com. That's where I am now. My
Substack.
videos,
Don't
podcasts,
subscribe to our Substack.
Okay, that's enough of that. We don't need to promote these ladies. Woo! Karine, this was your first episode of Her Take. What do you think of the show?
Extremely painful 2 hours, Anthony. I'm never doing this again with you.
Really? Well, I don't know if the audience will ever want to watch. This might be the last time we ever watch Her Take, folks. Let's see who else they bring on. Let's see what other topics they discuss. I still want to give this a chance. If you guys watch it, it depends. You know?
If they discuss Israel in detail, I will watch it.
Yeah, look, if they do an Israel episode, we'll definitely do
Yeah.
that for sure. But I think we'll take a break because I don't know if that many people are interested in the show. We're trying different stuff. Tomorrow, folks, join me for a live stream as I react to Willie Mack's shows. A video about iDubbbz. iDubbbz is unironically evil, featuring Hassan and Denims. Tried to ruin Ethan's family. Now, this guy is a notorious Hassan hater, and I guess Ethan Klein ass licker, so I will be reacting to this tomorrow, most likely solo, giving you my honest opinions on this train wreck of a video. For tonight, it was myself and Karine. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Thank you for joining us. We have 200 of you guys in the live chat. The Her Take videos don't do as well as the other ones. Again, we're just trying out. We appreciate you guys being here with us. Regardless, let me take a second to thank some of our lovely patrons. Let me cut to myself right here. Unmute that graphic. Let me switch. First, let me thank some new patrons that just joined us, such as Corinna Carrillo. Do I get the name right?
You always say it like that.
I said it off of memory this time. Corinna Carrillo, yes. Dumb Adult, N.A., Lee NYC, and Jamal, and Blonde Patron, Danielle Richards. Thank you guys so much for supporting us on Patreon. And to all of the new people that joined us, let me open up the chat here. Let me thank you guys personally and read your names. Thank you to Alice, Ali Cleo, for supporting us. Mesopotamianess, Natalie, Josiah Upperman, Charlie Kelly, a man with long last name, Mud, Mr. Krabs, Big Olameo, Noxaltol, T, Mark, and the Testicle Tiger for supporting us in the live chat today, for becoming members. We really love you guys. We cannot do this without you guys. This channel would fall apart if it wasn't for our live viewers, for our patrons, our members, all of you guys being here. Arabic word of the day. We've got any Arabic word you want to teach the folks today. It doesn't have to be a curse word. We could teach them something. An Arabic word.
Okay. Wait, how about
Go.
what?
I had no idea. I was going to say something stupid like table or some shit.
I was just going to say, because the power went out twice today, so I was going to say tekit.
That's complicated. How about kahraba? Power. Electricity.
Kahraba, that was my second idea. Yeah.
Electricity is kahraba, folks.
Kahraba. K-H-K-A. Wait, I'm spelling it. Okay. Kahraba.
K-A-H-R-A-B-A. Kahraba. or as Israelis would say, كهرباء.
Chachraba.
But it's kahraba, electricity. That is your Arabic word of the day. Thank you for joining us. It was a lot of fun, folks. We will see you tomorrow on our solo stream. I'm going to try to do a full-on episode of the podcast of Do Not Worry. For Thursday, we're going to try that. And I did ask you guys early on in the episode if you guys would be interested in a Do Not Worry movie edition, where we maybe break down the biggest news in the world of movies and TV, maybe review some movies, react to some trailers, talk about some casting announcements, talk about some director announcements. They just announced the cast of the Harry Potter cast. Maybe we can talk about that this Friday. So let me see what we can do.
I can't Friday.
Thursday and Friday, you're busy
I'm
both days?
graduating, folks.
Oh, you're graduating. Congratulations.
From my master's.
So you're busy Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
So we might have to do the first episode of Do Not Worry Movies without Karine, folks, but she'll join us on the second one. Or maybe next week. But
It's fine, it's fine.
The Harry Potter news, I'll find a way to talk about the Harry Potter news earlier. But folks, with all that said, we'd love to see you for the rest of the week on our other live streams. Hopefully there will be a full live chat. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I'm not going to hide this. So there's nothing. Look, I listed the names of the patrons. There's nothing embarrassing for me to hide and panic. So let's just close that before we make other mistakes, before we reveal more things that I shouldn't reveal. Folks, we love you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for being here. This isn't opening anymore. As always, folks, if you like what you see here and you want to see more, click right here to see more. I'm kidding. That's the Jeremy Johns outro. Folks, we love you. See you tomorrow for the Willie Mac iDubbbz video. See you maybe Thursday for a full episode of the Do Not Worry podcast. And members and Patreon live stream exclusive coming soon. Have a good night. We love you. And as always,